Unification and Reconciliation is now called to order. I would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Tulfo, Rafi Tulfo, who are
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
with me, who are with us today. And with the presence of Senator Tulfo, we now declare the presence of a quorum. Our hearing today is called in accordance with the government's commitment to the attainment of a comprehensive and lasting peace. Granting amnesty is a step in the right direction of what has been a long and storied journey in the peaceful resolution of armed conflict. On November 22, 2023, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed proclamation numbers 403, 404, 405, and 406 on the granting of amnesty to members of the Revolutionaryong Partido ng Manggagawa ng Pilipinas, Revolutionary Proletarian Army, Alex Bongkea Brigade, Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the Moro National Liberation Front. The Senate's concurrence to the proclamations will be a clear proof of the importance of dialogue in resolving conflicts with individuals who have once harbored socioeconomic and political grievances and stood against government, now seeking the grant of amnesty to reintegrate into society and take part in nation building. Also, in line with the pursuit of lasting peace, we would like to seek an update from the agencies present here today on the alleged delays on the decommissioning process enshrined in the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro, identifying the roadblocks so that we may accelerate the implementation of the normalization track of the CAB, or the comprehensive agreement of the Bangsamoro. Before we proceed, I yield the floor to Senator Tulfo, who would like to make an opening statement. Senator Tulfo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Senator Jingo Estrada, and good morning to all distinguished guests and resource persons. Tuwing linggo po sa misa, ang batian po natin sa isa't isa, kung kayo po'y Katoliko, ay peace be with you. Ito po ay napakalagang bahagi ng misa kung saan ang sambayanan ay nanyayahan ng pari na magbigay ng kapayapaan sa isa't isa. And that is what we are here to do now. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Lahat po tayo gusto ng kapayapaan sa buhay. And of course, it follows that nobody wants to be in conflict. Nobody wants to take arms against his fellow Filipino. Rebels were not born for that purpose, but they are born in an environment where they were slowly drawn into such way of life. Ito naman po talaga ang nakakalungkot kasi kung tutuusin, karamihan ng mga involved ngayon sa armed conflict hindi pa pinanganak nung nagsimula itong mga rebellion ng kanilang mga grupo. At ang karamihan na nagsimula, ang nagpasimuno ng mga alita na ito ay nagsimatayan na mayapa na in short. Samantala mga sumunod na henerasyon, tuloy pa din ang pagdigma sa isa't isa at malayo sa kapayapaan. Ang papapatuloy ng armed conflict po natin ay parang alitan sa mga pamilya na hindi na nila alam bakit ito nagsimula. Pero nadagdagan ang alitan. Hindi po ito natatapos dahil minsan bit-bit po ng magkabilang panig ang hinanakit ng nakaraan. And that is what the present House concurrent resolutions on the granting of amnesty is all about. To forgive and to heal past wounds. Forgiveness is the first step to lasting peace. And I'm all for this. I'm in support of the peace process. I'm in support for healing our country. Amnesty will give a fresh start for our dear rebels. And you know what? This is not just our rebels, but for the nation also. It allows our nation to be peace from within. This amnesty will definitely benefit everyone. But as it with everything that we do here, it will be a good idea if it is implemented properly. And I have some concerns. Again, I have some concerns that I hope we could address today regarding our amnesty program. First, the proper selection of the grantees of the amnesty must be clear and purposeful. pool. The intent of the law should be reflected in the selection process. Dapat po may clear parameters and guidelines on these matters so that the grantees will be legitimate returnees and not pawns in the conflict sent to sow further discord. What parameters are being followed by the National Amnesty Commission? How are the local amnesty boards selected? And what is its composition? Second, we have to ensure that there are follow-up programs for our returnees. Last year, the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, or OPAP-RU, was granted a substantial budget of 7 billion pesos, which is a jump from the average 1.9 billion pesos in budget it used to have. The budget covers the National Amnesty Commission. How will this budget be utilized? 7 billion pesos. And the Pamana projects or the Payapa at Masaganang Pamayanan projects in the past, how successful were they? According to Presidential Peace Advisor Secretary Carlito G. Galvez Jr., 5 billion pesos will be allocated for Pamana projects for socio-economic interventions to ensure changes or change lives and transform communities. I hope that this will be complete follow-through for the amnesty program. Finally, let us learn from the successful peace processes in other countries and how they utilize amnesty as part of the peace process. A model of that we have been following is the Good Friday Agreement, or the Belfast Agreement, that ended most of the violence in Northern Ireland. In the said agreement, they incorporated amnesty as a final step to the decommissioning and normalization of security arrangements in Northern Ireland, and this has been proven to be successful. Mr. Chair, this amnesty is not meant to condone criminal acts, nor it is a softer stance against terrorism. Rather, this is meant to weaken terrorism. Hopefully, by taking away its followers and showing that there are alternative options to living outside the rebel groups, terrorist operations will be crippled and ultimately cease. This ultimately is our dream. This is what I want for our uniformed personnel, for them to be involved in less armed conflict from within our country. We hope that after decades of conflict, we can finally see an end to this internal conflict. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I would like to reserve my questions later.
Thank you, Senator Rafi. At this juncture, may we ask our committee secretary to acknowledge our guests and resource persons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. The committee would like to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed guests from the Department of National Defense, Undersecretary Angelito M. De Leon, Undersecretary for Office for Capability Assessment and Development, Assistant Secretary Eric Lawrence D., Assistant Secretary for Legal and Legislative Affairs. From the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Colonel Medel M. Aguilar, PA, Deputy Commander. Colonel Eduardo D. Esquivias, JAGS, Chief Claims. Major Marcelo Cabelin III, JAGS, Assistant Chief, PPLSD. Colonel Wendell Basaypa, OLA, AFP. Colonel Rolando Escalona Jr., JAGS. From the National Security Advisor and from the National Security Council, Mr. Nestor Jerico, Deputy Director General, Mrs. Patricia Gil Terrazola, Executive Assistant 3, Department of Justice, Assistant Secretary Maiken Anika Gran Ong, Senior State Counsel Berlin Berba, Assistant State Prosecutor Evie Eunice Caser. From the Commission on Human Rights, Attorney Jolette Paulo de la Cruz, Attorney 4, Attorney Odina Batnag, Attorney 4. From the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. together with Senior Undersecretary Isidro L. Purisima, Deputy Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, Presidential Assistant Wilben M. Mayor, Presidential Assistant for Local Conflict Transformation and Peace Sustainability, Presidential Advisor David B. Diciano, Presidential Assistant for Bangsamoro Transformation, Presidential Assistant Cesar B. Llano, Co-Chair, Government Peace Implementing Panel, Director Wendell Orbeso, Director, Moro Islamic Liberation Front Peace Process Office, Director Hannah Jill Gallardo, Director, MNLF Peace Process Office, Director Christina Loren Umali, Director, RPA, ABB, and CBA, CPLA Concerns Office, Director Emmanuel Santos Jr., Director, Localized Peace Engagement Office, Director Darwin Wally Wee, Director, Communications and Public Affairs Services, Mary Francis Rivera, Communications and Public Affairs Services, Mr. Rons Joshua Posedio, Communications and Public Affairs Services, Paula Acuña Lorico, Moro National Liberation Front Peace Process Office, Amena Rasul Natangkop, Moro Islamic Liberation Front Peace Process Office, Sosimo Salazar, Area Management Unit Central Luzon, who is present online, Mr. Kino Pascua, Office of the Secretary, Awik Maria Catherine Jani Sidro, Office of the Secretary, Director Farah Grace Naparan, Head of GPIP MILF Secretariat. From the National Amnesty Commission, Chairperson Attorney Lea Tanodra Armamento, together with Attorney Jamar Kulayan, Commissioner, and Attorney Nasser Marohom Salik, Commissioner. From the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, we have Assistant Director General Manuel Orduña and Attorney Albi Juarez. From the Philippine National Police, we have Police Brigadier General Percival Augustus P. Placer, Chief PPDC. From the Moro Islamic Liberation Front Peace Implementing Panel, Bangsamoro Government Center, we have Attorney Raisa Hajure, member of the MILF Peace Panel, Attorney Mary Ann Arnado, MILF Amnesty Technical Working Group, Attorney Khalil Denise Alcomendras, MILF Amnesty Technical Working Group. We also have from the Moro National Liberation Front under the leadership of Chair Nur Miswari, Attorney Faidar Jafar, from the MNLF Central Committee, Moro National Liberation Front Central Committee, under the leadership of Chair Muslimin Sema, Attorney Pangalian Maniri. From the Kapatiran para sa Progresibong Panlipunan Incorporated, Miss Maria Veronica Tabara. From the dating miyembro ng regional na unit sa seguridad at regional na operational command, Mr. Danilo Herman is also present virtually, Mr. Chair. That would be all.
Thank you, Comsec. We shall now proceed with the presentation from our resource persons. Any opening statement, Secretary Galvez?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. To the highly esteemed members of the Senate Committee on National Defense, Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, headed by Senator Jinggoy Ercito Estrada, sir. To the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity, headed by Senior Undersecretary Isidro Purisima. We'd like also to acknowledge Minister Raisa Jujuri, our esteemed guest from our MNLF group, Miss Maria Veronica Tabara Kainka from he's the chair of the Joint Enforcement and Monitoring Committee of our GPH RPABB. Fellow civil servants, other resource persons present, Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Isang maganda at mapayapang umaga po sa ating lahat. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude to our dear senators for inviting us to this hearing and giving us an opportunity to share our views on a matter that is very close to our heart. Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, the granting of amnesty to former rebels was one of the most very close to my heart because I was once a rebel soldier who was granted amnesty during the administration of the late President Fidel B. Ramos. It was because of the visionary leadership of President Ramos that yours truly, together with other rebel soldiers like myself, more than 1,000 of us, regained our freedom. We were not only forgiven by the state for the charges we were committed, but most importantly, we are reinstated to the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And we were given the chance to rebuild ourselves and start a new chapter in our lives. And we all retire in the service. I therefore humbly stand before you as a former rebel and a living testament to the transformative power of amnesty. It is for this reason that we hope that the amnesty given to us will also be accorded to other former rebels. Peace agreements were forged years ago with Moro fronts, with the Revolutionary Partido na Manggagawa ng Pilipinas, Revolutionary Proletarian Army, Alex Bungkayo Brigade, or Kapatiran. However, members of this group who have already laid down their arms and many have yet to benefit from amnesty. Amnesty does not only extinguish criminal liability for the acts committed by these former rebels, it creates a path toward their full transformation and enables them to return to mainstream society. Amnesty will be the key to building a better and brighter future for themselves and their families and their communities. But despite their strong desire to return to the folds of the law, a lot of them remain hesitant to do so due to the looming threat of legal repercussions. The pending cases in court against them hang like a sword of Damocles over their heads. They are torn between their desire to turn a new leaf on one hand and be held accountable for their political mistakes on the other. And we are repairing here the thousands of MLLF, MILF, Kapatiran, and former rebels from the CPP and PANDF who already laid down their arms, 39,000 of them, and their front organizations whose lives can dramatically change once granted amnesty. It is for this reason, Honorable Senators, that we humbly seek your full support for House Concurrent Resolutions number 19, 20, 21, and 22. With your concurrence, we will be able to demonstrate that indeed good things come to those who walk to the path of peace and foster a society where former rebels can find redemption and contribute to the greater good. Amnesty will be the key in their full transformation. As Senator Tulfo has said, we will ensure that the parameters on the application of amnesty will be fully implemented as enshrined on the Proclamation 403, 404, Proclamation 405, and 406. And also we will transform the former rebels by having the normalization program and transformation roadmap for them. On the decommissioning process, finally, we would like to take this opportunity to shed light on the concern raised by the Senate on the delays being faced by the national government regarding the implementation of the decommissioning process for the MILF combatants. We wish to inform this august body that a total of 26,132 MILF combatants and 4,625 of their firearms have already been decommissioned under the 3 phases. Barring any unforeseen events, we expect that the 4th phase to be carried out this year and completed within 2025. Inasmuch as the government wanted to fast-track the decommissioning process, our timeline was unfortunately pushed back when the COVID-19 pandemic struck in 2020, and lasted for roughly 3 years, wherein we were not able to complete the implementation of the decommissioning of the third phase, which we started in 2020. We completed them in August 2023. During this period, the government priorities shifted and funds were allocated, as our main goal then was to save lives for the COVID-19. Now that the health crisis is over, we are doing everything possible to accelerate the decommissioning process. The independent decommissioning body is still waiting for the submission of the names of the 14,000 combatants be submitted by the MILF implementing panel. Through this hearing, we hope that to shed light and respond to your queries regarding the amnesty program and the MILF decommissioning process. Thank you very much for taking time and also for allowing us to speak.
Thank you, Secretary Galvez. Any one of you? Yes, Yusek Angelito de Leon.
Thank you very much, sir. To the Honorable Chairperson of this august body, Senator Estrada, sir, fellow workers in government, magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Foremost, the Secretary of National Defense wishes to extend his apologies for not being able to attend today due to an equally important engagement. Nonetheless, with the permission of the Honorable Chairperson, sir, may I be allowed to read his official statement on today's subject matter. The Philippine Defense Establishment welcomes the granting of amnesty by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to eligible members of different rebel groups who may have committed crimes in pursuit of their political beliefs. The issuance of Executive Order Number 47, Series of 2023, which amended EO Number 125, Series of 2021, or the creation of the National Amnesty Commission, together with Proclamation Numbers 403, 404, 405, and 406, are a testament to the commitment of the Marcos administration to sustaining our gains in our internal security and stability. We are fully behind the government's concerted efforts to advance reconciliation and healing from the armed conflicts that have divided our nation for far too long. The granting of amnesty offers an invaluable opportunity for brothers and sisters to transform their lives, avail government services, and rejoin their families and communities. The Department of National Defense hopes for the support of all Filipinos in this endeavor, and we shall work closely with the National Amnesty Commission for the full implementation of these proclamations aimed at rebuilding lives and nurturing a lasting peace for all. Maraming salamat po, sir.
Thank you, Yusek de Leon. Anybody who wishes to make an opening statement? All right,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
you are,
DDG Nestor Jericho from the National Security
Alright.
Council.
please make it brief. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. To the Honorable Chairperson, Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, and the rest of the honorable members of the Senate Committee on National Defense and Security, Peace, Unification, and Reconciliation, good morning. Thank you for the invite. The National Security Council, National Security Advisor, Secretary Anyo, expresses his apologies for not being present today. On House Committee Resolution Number 19, 2021 and 22, concurring with the President's Proclamation Number 403, 404, 405, 406, respectively, on the grant of amnesty to the members of the Revolusionaryong Partido ng Manggagawa ng Pilipinas, Revolutionario Proletariat Army, Alex Bongcayaw Brigade, RPMP-RPA-ABB, Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, and the National Democratic Front, CCP-NPA-NDF, Moro Islamic Liberation Front, Moro National Liberation Front, the NSC would like to manifest its appreciation and support to all the aforesaid House Committee resolutions, noting that the lower house's concurrence to the President's proclamation is a strong indication of the solidarity of the current administration in pursuit for lasting peace and national security. On the Senate Resolution Number 321 directing the appropriate committee to conduct an inquiry in an aid of legislation into the delays in the decommissioning process of the MILF forces and weapons, the NSC generally supports and acknowledges the wisdom of the said Senate resolution. The NSC further concurs to conduct investigation to determine incidents not only by the Senate but also by other stakeholders agencies to avoid any encounter in the foreseeable future that may impose similar threats to the peace and security of the newly established Bangsamoro region. Overall, the NSC will continue to stay abreast on the developments of this legislative measure and be cooperative with the stakeholders agencies in providing essential elements of information and necessary policy recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
To DDG Nestor Enrico. All right. Going back, no, Secretary Galvez, during the time of President Cory Aquino, did she grant amnesty to any rebel group?
Sir, the granting of the rebel group, as we have already had the data, we have a total of 20,478.
During the time of President Cory?
We don't remember any.
What about President Ramos? How many?
During the President Ramos and also President Estrada, we have granted.
Did they grant amnesty to?
Yes, sir.
What rebel group?
For the previous national action.
During the time of President Ramos, how many rebel groups did was granted amnesty? Before that, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Amy Marcos.
All rebel uncertain.
For the record lang.
Sir, the previous proclamation 347, all rebels and insurgents.
President Ramos.
Yes, sir. We have 348 AEP and PNP, 723 RAM SFU, then also 724 for all rebel insurgents. And,
President Estrada.
yung kanina President ano? Yes,
Good morning,
Yes.
Honorable Chairperson. President Estrada issued for amnesty proclamation to different rebel groups,
To
particularly,
different rebel groups.
he continued the proclamation 347 of President Ramos, reopening and extending the proclamation issued by FBR. And he also issued proclamation to members of the MLF upon the fall of the Camp Abu Bakar in 2000. He issued a total of 4 amnesty proclamations.
For amnesty to different rebel groups.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, President Arroyo.
He issued proclamation 1377, but it did not get the concurrence of Congress, Your Honor. And under
Why is
President
that
Cory,
so?
I'm not so sure, Mr. Chair, but she did not submit that, I think, to the Congress, Your
So
Honor.
nothing happened during the time of President Arroyo?
Yes, Your Honor.
President Pinoy.
He issued proclamation 75, Your Honor, in 2010 and granted amnesty to members
It was
of the
concurred
Magdalo
by
Group.
both houses?
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened?
It granted members of
How
the
many rebel groups?
These are two groups, members of the Magdalo group of Senator Trillanes and members of the Marines under Colonel Ariel Carubin in 2006.
Okay, President Duterte.
He issued 4 proclamation, Your Honor, proclamation 1090 to 1091.
All right. Was it concurred by both houses?
With respect to the 3 rebel groups, Your Honor, it was concurred by both houses of Congress, except for the proclamation 1093 under the CPP, former members of the CPP and PNDF. It was not concurred in by the Senate, Your Honor.
Oh, the incumbent president, President Marcos.
President
4.
Marcos issued at least
4.
the senior for 10, and now it's the president's 4.
Okay, we received information that the previous amnesty granted by President Duterte and duly concurred by both houses of Congress during the last 18 Congress was not implemented. Is this true? Why is that so? It was concurred, it was already concurred by both houses of Congress, but was not implemented.
yes,
Why is
because
that so?
because the NAC was appointed during the time of President Marcos.
Excuse me?
The membership of the National Amnesty Commission was appointed during the time of President Marcos already. And also the proclamations 1093, 94, 95, 96 expired because it was given only 1 year.
Okay, how sure are we that if we concur with these proclamations, this will be fully implemented?
Number
time-
one, Your Honor, is that the National Amnesty Commission is fully constituted. They already constituted also the local amnesty boards, and they are going around already for the information and education of the different rebel groups. So we are very very.
Are you confident that this will be implemented?
Yes,
if,
because
we concur with this particular bill?
yes, sir, because it was extended to 2 years, sir.
Or else we will just waste time here if you will not implement this.
Sir, the application now is not 1 year but 2 years po.
All right. Can you give this committee a ballpark figure of how many rebels will benefit from this amnesty?
Sir, the projected numbers of applicants is from the MILF. We have 40,000 combatants.
MILF, how
And-
many?
For 40,000 combatants, and we are expecting more or less 10,000 of them. 400 individuals with cases are now applying.
Okay.
For the MNLF, we have an estimated 2,000.
2,000?
Yes, sir. For the RPE,
What is it,
RPM,
Alex Bocao?
yes, sir. We have expected 1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And then also for the CPP, NP, NDF, more or less 39,000 already surrendered. And we are-
39?
39,000.
Okay.
And we are expecting that their regulars, more or less 70,000, so we also apply for the amnesty.
Eh, yung mga firearms nila.
Sir, the firearms of the CPP&P already surrendered during
How many?
we will ask the AEP.
Eh, paano yung mga bulok na mga baril na sinusurrender nila? Paano? Well, usually that's the case. Mga hindi na napapakinabangan ng mga firearms.
Sir, actually, sir, yung mga sinurrender na firearms ng CPP&P, honestly, sir, medyo, sir, magaganda. Sir.
Serviceable pa?
Yes,
Is
sir,
it
yes, sir.
still serviceable?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, what is the expected impact of this amnesty grant to the rebel forces and the overall campaign against the rebellion and secessionist movement?
So it will have a very significant impact, considering that it might give them the signal to really most of them who are still out there to really lay down their arms and also surrender.
Okay. We noticed that the period of application provided under President Duterte's proclamation was 1 year. Am I correct?
1 year, sir. Yes, sir.
Whereas the presidential proclamations under consideration is 2 years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we presume that the intent is to allow more applicants to benefit from this amnesty.
Yes, Your Honor.
How fast can the Amnesty Commission process such applications?
We have already a chairman, Armamento.
Yeah.
over here.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Assuming that both houses have already concurred.
Yeah.
How fast do you
Um,
process?
Under our rule of procedure, which we we are giving ourselves 90 days to process, from the time the application is filed, to process until we submit it to the office of the president. And then we have already conducted our strategic planning, and our target is that by the time the president ends his term, we are done with the processing of all applications.
Okay, sino mamamahala ng vetting process dito? Kayo po? How do you vet
Yeah.
these rebels?
Sir, we have the local amnesty board. With the local amnesty board, they are the ones in charge with the vetting, and then with that, we have, upon the receipt of the application, we refer the applications for vetting to the National Bureau of Investigation, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and the Philippine National Police. And we have a 5-day period for them to return to us the data. At the same time, the applicants has also to submit his proof of identity.
All right. How did these amnesty proclamations issued by the president came about? Are these the products of peace agreements and programs of the government to reintegrate former rebels into the mainstream society.
I
Did you
think
recommend to the president?
This is the product of the agreement wherein it is part of the agreement that amnesty will be given. And also this is a part of competence building. At the
Right,
same time,
before I proceed asking questions, I would like to yield the floor to Senator Baka meron kang opening statement.
sabay-sabay na.
Yeah.
Pati yung
Hindi, yung ano muna, yung sa granting of amnesty.
pero yung sa akin sa LA lang.
Sige,
Gusto mo later na lang.
yeah, alright. Thank you, Senator Amy.
Can do it na now para
Okay, sige.
sige. Sorry, can't make up my mind. Thank you very much. And I actually have a different resolution, 321, which is part of the agenda today, and I'm sure you're well aware of the inquiry into the delays and the updated report of the decommissioning of the MILF forces and weapons. As we well know, in 2014, there was a comprehensive agreement which concluded 17 years of negotiations. And part of this is the annex on normalization, paving the way for the laying down of weapons of MILF members and their transition to civilian life. So the organic law was thereafter passed, and we're fully aware that an independent decommissioning body was constituted with experts from Turkey, Norway, Brunei, Japan, and local experts that were thereafter chosen. Nevertheless, it came to our attention that this is a very delayed procedure. Only 12,000 of the 40,000 having been decommissioned with much suspicion about their age and their status as non-combatants and the surrender of weapons that were never serviceable in the first place. And the pandemic only made things worse, and delays persisted until 2022 when 3 soldiers were killed in Albarca, Basilan. We're also aware that in September of 2022, a third phase was supposed to begin. But in less than 1 month, a civilian was again injured in Barangay Sambolawan, Midsayap, North Cot. And thereafter, 1 month later, 3 soldiers were again murdered in a clash with the 101st Infantry Brigade. So it is very apparent that this decommissioning is key to the peace and order in the BARM area, and there is a need to investigate regarding the delays and the veracity of the decommissioned forces and the surrenderees. Are they actually the combatants that we were after? Are they in fact surrendering genuine service weapons? And when shall we see the end of this entire process? There is also a level of confusion with regard to the amount of money and the various benefits to be given. $2,400 US or assistance of 21,000 pesos, 15,000 immediate livelihood assistance, 50,000. Ang daming perang binibigay. Talaga bang sulit ito para sa ating mamayan? Tunay ba yung mga nagsusurrender at talaga ba yung kasangkapan na ginagamit ang siyang binibigay sa pamahalaan o mga tulad ng maraming nagsasabi, puros kalawang na lang na bakal. Eto nga, ang nais nating malaman. Sa ngayon, apakalaki na ng nagastos natin, 2.613 billion po. Sa transitional assistance pa lamang. Laki-laki ng pera. So, kinakailangan malaman natin yung update dito dahil nga nauwi sa napakaraming delay. Sa 10 taon na to 2024 na po tayo. Nag-umpisa to dapat 2014.
Sir, Your Honors, can I answer some of the questions? For the information of the Honorable Senator Amy Marcos, as of this date, we already had 26,132 MILF combatants that already been decommissioned. and 4,625 firearms had been also decommissioned.
Napaka-konti naman ng baril. Di ba dapat halos magkapareho yung number niyan? Alam nga naman sundalo at combatant walang baril.
Yes, Your Honor, that's also the sentiment of the Armed Forces of the Philippines that they also want to have a 1:1. That's why we are also comparing.
Nakita mo yung mga sinusurrender ang sasagwa hindi naman yun ang baril nila eh. Ang gaganda ng baril nila, talo pa tayo eh.
That was what I was asking a while ago.
Di ba kanina?
They
Sabi
were
nga,
surrendering
mga kinalaman eh.
unserviceable firearms, rusty firearms.
Then tanong ko, ba't natin tinanggap yun? 22,000 na walang baril.
Sir, Madam, we have.
Dapat hindi natin tinatanggap pag walang dalang baril, di ba? Kasi hindi naman makatotohanan na lumalaban siya na walang dalang bakal.
That makes sense, Secretary Alves. How did you accept the rebels without returning any firearms?
Sir,
the government?
the position of the armed forces and also with the government is that we are pushing to the implementing panel because the implementing panel, the GPH and the MILF, we convey to them that the desire of the armed forces of the Philippines and also the security sector is to have 1:1, meaning one combatant for one firearms. They averred that the organic firearms that the MILF had is only 7,000, meaning there are three categories of the ownership. One is personally owned, one is organic owned by the MILF, and the others are being loaned from other sources. So we have also a comprehensive program on how we could manage to recover their personal firearms through the ASPIRE. We have already asked some localization of the governors. In fact, we already implemented it in Basilan, wherein
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
the localization implementation of the normalization program is that we involve the local government units, especially the governors.
But as we are well aware, there's quite serious tension between the BARM and the LCEs. So
So that-
exactly how is this operable?
Sir, Ma'am, Your Honors, we deem it important that the normalization be localized through the involvement of the governors because we hear their sentiments that in the decommissioning and also in normalization they were not involved, and true enough with their sentiments, we have some sort of a consultation with them, and we this year we are implementing the localization of normalization with the involvement of all the governors in the PARM. In fact, Your Honors, we already completed the program with we initiated the program with Basilan, and last February 1 and 2, we talked with Governor Adjong and also the Vice Governor of Lanao del Norte, holding the troops of Commander Bravo, so that we can have also the localization. In that aspect, Madam, your concerns will be fully addressed.
Pero ang realidad, Secretary Galvez, ang totoo, nakaka-10 years na po tayo at mahigit konting 60% pa lamang ang na-achieve natin. 26,000 pa lamang. Ang pagkaalam ko, yung target dapat 44,000. Kasi yun ang nakalista. Ang ibig sabihin nito, another 18,000, another 7 years bago tayo matapos.
Madam,
Ang pagkaalam ko, dapat matapos to bago magka-eleksyon ng 2025.
Yes,
Yun ang
madam.
usapan, di
Yes,
ba?
Yes, Madam.
But at the rate you're going, palagay ko, it will take 7 to 8 years kasi ang bagal eh.
Ma'am, we would like to clarify that the CAB was signed 2014, but the BOL was only ratified 2019. So we started the decommissioning in 2019, but it was pushed back for 3 years because of COVID-19. 2020, we have already, in 2019, we were able to fully decommission the second batch.
The total of how many? First batch tsaka second batch?
First batch is 12,000, madam.
O, tapos?
And then the third batch is 14,000. But
Hindi, yung second muna. Yung sinasabi mong natapos,
the first batch is the ceremonial of 145. The second batch is the 12,000. And then the third batch is 14,000. So we were able to complete the third batch only last August 2023 when we declared that the pandemic is already over. So
Yes.
meaning
Secretary Galvez, as you're fully aware, the cries for an independent Mindanao have been revived very forcefully
madam.
by former President Duterte as well as former Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez. That being the case, it's incumbent upon us to do this as quickly and as thoroughly as possible. I understand from you that you have now initiated an effort to involve the local chief executives who have been very discomfited by the entire effort.
yes, madam.
Kasi lagi lang ginagamit yung mga BTC lamang. Wala namang mga organisasyon na malaman kung sino talaga yung combatant, sino talaga yung totoong MILF na sundalo. So, nais kong malaman, what other steps are we taking to make certain that we in fact meet this 2025 deadline? Malapit-lapit na yan, isang taon na lang.
Yes, madam. For this year, we are so happy to inform you that the DBM already released the 448 million intended for more or less 6,000 last December 29. This is coming from the unprogrammed fund of 2023.
I'm a little bit lost. Bakit pera ang sinagot mo?
Because the commission did.
Ang laki-laki na nga ng ginastos wala namang pakinabang, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang paputok.
Because the decommissioning involves the initial cash grant of 100,000.
Is it 100,000 or 2,400 US dollars? I'm
Only
confused. There are so many listings here, kaya nalilito rin yung mga mag-a-apply.
For the MILF, Your Honor, we have to give during the decommissioning and validation, we need to give an initial cash gift of 100,000 from the DSWD.
From DSWD?
Yes.
Anong
Honor.
tawag dyan? Anong tawag sa project?
Initial cash grant, Your
Hindi,
Honor.
anong pangalan? Anong pangalan ng project? Hindi ko alam eh. Para ma-trace ko.
Unconditional cash assistance. It is being released by DBM to us, and then it will be.
No, I'm a little bit lost. You're saying it's DSWD. I'm very familiar with their budget, and I don't think that's the item that's stated in the GAA.
It was a transitional cash assistance given lodged in our budget in OPAPRU, and it will be transferred to DSWD for the transfer and implementation. Considering that the DSWD has.
OPAP. Sa madaling sabi, OPAP.
Yes,
Yun ang hahanapin ko sa budget ninyo.
yes, madam.
At titignan yung breakdown. Yung 2.6 billion, ilan na yung surrendery dyan, yung sinasabi nyo total?
The 2.6 billion is comprises already the 26,132 combatants that had been commissioned and given unconditional cash transfer.
So that's divided by 100,000 apiece. So you're saying that 26,000 kaya 2.6 billion.
Yes, madam.
So you're for the 448, another 4,000 people.
Another more
4,600.
4,600, madam. Yes, and we have also
Lang pa yan, malayo-layo pa yan sa inyo.
we
Malayo-layo pa sa balance ninyo.
we have also budgeted for 2024 9,370.
Budgeted where?
2024 9,372 combatants.
Sa OPAP
Yes, madam.
or DSWD?
Yes, madam, sa amin po.
OPAP.
Yes,
So you're seeking to complete the remainder, is that correct?
Yes, madam, in 2025.
How assured are we that that will actually happen, considering that you've taken so long in the past?
If you look at the timeline.
I mean, you said you will enlist the LCEs, no? The chief executives that are local. Maliban doon, is there anything else that can be done? Because this is essential, as we all know, to the peace and progress of Mindanao, and we need to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible. Maliban sa LCEs, ano pang gagawin natin para makatulong? Sabi mo, sapat na yung budget. Ano pa?
Actually, there is some sort of a EO 70 wherein the intercabinet cluster also converges in order to provide socioeconomic packages to the combatants also. Because the conditional cash transfer of 100,000, considering that most of these combatants are from the poverty and poverty index sector. If you look at the BARM before the implementation of the BOL, they have more or less more than 60% of them are under the poverty index. So the 100,000 for us is not enough for them to be away from the poverty trap that they had. That's why we have now some interagency collaboration, including DSWD and DA, in order to have a complete social package to our farmers and also to our combatants who are engaged in
Yes,
farming.
I'd appreciate an updated record of what's occurred. Because there have been so many unsatisfactory reports about the decommissioning process. Anong ginagawa ninyo sa mga baril na na-decommission? Saan napupunta?
It was put in the in a secured area in Cap Abubakar, and it is now undergoing validation for the power
10
possibility.
years na po. 10 years? Binavalidate ng 10 years?
No,
Wala bang silbi lahat yan?
yeah,
Ang pagkaalam ko, puros kinalawang na yan. Hindi daw yung totoong mga baril.
How many are serviceable and how many are not?
all operational.
4,600
All
naman.
operational, Your Honors, because most of the combatants are using caliber 31 carbine during that time and also
Yes.
veteran.
No, that's precisely why I'm asking. Saan ninyo linalagay? Kasi kung talagang serviceable yan, di ba dapat tinatago o kaya
It was in a storage.
i-mission order na yan lahat? Bakit saan ba napunta yan?
it was,
Nakatambak lang daw sa kampo? Baka nagkawalaan na yan.
No, madam. I just came there in Camp Abubakar. It is a headquarters of the First Marine Brigade. And the IDB is taking care of that in that what we call SASA. We call it secured area. Wherein it is
No, pero sayang naman kung pwede pang gamitin like the chairman said. Bakit hindi assign yan?
Your Honors, these are decommissioned firearms. The agreement is we will put them beyond use.
So have you?
We will put them beyond use,
So
meaning
have you put them beyond use?
we will melt them. We have now
But you just said that they're in Camp Abubakar, so they haven't been decommissioned, they haven't been melted down, they are still serviceable. Why? 10 years?
There is a process of the implementing panel.
Isn't that too long a process, 10 taon, para lang i-render unserviceable ang baril?
Madam, it's not 10 years. We have only started in 2019. And also
Sabihin na nga natin 5 years. Ang haba naman. Madali naman mag-unserviceable ng baril, hindi naman ganun kakomplikado. At saka melting is not necessary. We all know that.
actually, ma'am, they are located in a closed band. And they are.
I understand you're telling me that there are security measures, Secretary Galvez. Ang tinatanong ko, your mandate is to turn them unserviceable and it doesn't seem to have occurred.
We are in the process of because we have an IDB in the
Yeah, but it's a 5-year process. Unang-una, napakakonti. Ikalawa, yung nahuli o na-surrender, nakatenga pa rin doon. Ba't ganun? Naguguluhan ako eh.
There is a mechanism on how to dispose, madam, and then we are just waiting for the decision of
But surely a 5-year mechanism is far too long. It's very inefficient.
we will expedite, madam.
Okay, so, kasi kung di rin gagamitin o hindi naman sisirain, mas maigi, gamitin na, ipamigay na sa sundalo natin, na kulang naman ang armas.
Pwede ba yun? Pwede bang ibigay sa ating sundalo?
The agreement is it will be put beyond use, so it will be
Pero they're
melted.
not doing
It will be
it.
melted.
Mr.
Excuse
Chair,
me?
pwede, sorry.
Yes,
Pwede makisingit. Sana, quick question.
with the permission of Senator
Yes,
Masa.
Madam Senator Amy, tanong ko lang, how secured yung pinaglalagyan ng mga armas na sinurrender? And my question, follow-up to that is, how many firearms have been surrendered by the surrenderies and how many surrenderies you have so far. Gusto ko pagbanggain kung tama ba yung numero. Hindi? Then may problema tayong malaki, napakalaking problema. Namimigay kayo ng pera sa cash transfer or cash assistance, eh baka naman walang baril na dala is batuta lang o patpat, bibigyan agad ng cash. Dapat magkabanggaan yun.
That was what Senator Amy Marcos was asking a while ago. Ano ba yung ratio? Kung merong 40,000 surrenderies,
40,000 na baril dapat.
dapat 1 is
Or
to
more.
1. Or more.
Or
yes.
more.
Or more. Kasi sabi nga ni Senator Amy, paano naman meron isang taong rebelde, walang armas, walang bakal, paano lalaban naman yun? Di ba? Kung batuta nga lang ang dala nun, mukhang hindi yata.
O baka ang dala nun palo-palo.
Senator Rafi, ang pagkasabi sa atin, 26,132 ang nag-surrender.
Okay.
Ang armas na nahagip, 4,625.
Oh, my goodness.
Ang
Malayo.
saksakan ng layo.
There's a big
Oh.
discrepancy with regard to the ratio. No?
Or baka naman 26,000 din yung baril na nakuha nila, kailan ni-recycle. Benenta o
Out
binalik.
of these 4,000 rifles or whatever, ilan yung serviceable doon? Lahat yun serviceable?
Yes, sir. 4,600.
Are you sure? Kasi
Yes,
yung
yes,
mga nakikita ko sa TV,
Ang
yung
tanong
mga
din,
sinusurrender nila, pare mga kalawang na yun.
ang tanong din ano yung mga baril na yon? Baka mga paltik na revolver?
Normally, they've surrendered the cruiser weapons. Sir.
Ano nga po?
Uh,
Carbine?
81 mm mortars, 50 caliber machine guns,
Wag na yung mga machine guns. Ano po yung mga M16?
M16, yes, sir.
Marami? Ano yung karamihan?
Majority, sir, M16, sir. At saka M14.
Okay, excuse me, Senator Tulfo. Meron tayong representative from the MILF. Maybe you can shed light.
Marami kasing nagdududa, bulok na yung baril, tapos ang tatanda raw ng mga combatants na hindi naman daw totoo. How do we authenticate and verify in all cases, both with regard to the weaponry as well as to the identity of the said combatants?
Good morning, Your Honors. I am Raisa Jujuri. I'm part of the peace panel of the MILF. In the agreement, Your Honors, the decommissioning is for both the combatants and also the weapons. For the combatants, you would not find the numbers in the agreement itself. But after the agreement was signed, there was a meeting between the MILF leadership and the president, and that is when the numbers were discussed.
Is it correct that 44,000 was the number agreed upon?
40,000.
Sorry.
40,000.
40. Okay, so may tawad pa na 4. Okay, 40.
40,000 po. And then yung weapons, as mentioned by the good secretary, it is not really 1:1. Many of the weapons that the combatants used are not the organization's property. And therefore, there is another program to ensure that these privately owned weapons can also be submitted or given to the authorities.
Ang
But
sinasabi ninyo, kapag personal, hindi kailangan i-surrender. Tago pa rin nila kasi personal nila, hindi naman MI.
yes,
Tama
the
ba?
commitment, Your Honor, is for those that are owned by the organization.
So yung personal, tatago pa rin nila.
It will be
Kaya
under
pala
a different.
sinasabi, yung maganda, nasa kanila pa eh. Yung bulok, yun lang sinusurrender.
There is another program, Your Honor, and I think that is what the good secretary is referring to.
May nabanggit po si Secretary na yung ikatlong kategorya ng mga baril, tungkol daw sa baril na pinahiram lamang na kung sino. Sino nagpapahiram ng baril sa Mindanao?
Sympathizers, Your Honor. So some are owned by members themselves and some are owned by non-members who may sympathize with the cause of the MILF.
So kung sympathizers, okay lang na itago pa rin nila yung baril. Hindi rin sakop nito.
I think, Your Honor, that is the target of the other program, those that are not owned by the organization, but there is still a program to ensure that these weapons are brought to the
What do you mean another program? So, kaya kakapiranggot lamang ang na-surrender kasi yung sinasabi lang MILF property. Yung personal, lusot. Yung pinahiram ng sympathizer, lusot din. Ganun ba?
Hindi, I would not say lusot, Your Honor, because I think government is also extending effort to implement the other program that will allow these weapons to be brought to the authorities.
With all due respect to Senator Marcos, if I may, how will the government know if itong mga baril nito personal at hindi pagmamayari ng organization ninyo?
I think that will be there is a target.
Ano to, tiwalaan lang? O ito akin to, ito sa ano? Tiwalaan na lang, ganun lang ba yun?
Because, Your Honor, I don't think we also have an inventory of all those that are privately
Of course,
owned.
syempre lahat ng mga personal use ng inyong members, walang permit yan. Lahat yan illegal. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor. So the program would allow small arms to be registered, and those that cannot be registered can be part of a, I don't know
Bakit
what
hindi
the
nyo na
program
lang
is called.
isurrender lahat, whether personal yan o pagmamayari ng organization? Kung talagang sincere kayo na magbalik loob sa gobyerno, ay surrender nyo na lahat. Pati yung mga binigay ng mga sympathizers ng MILF. Why don't you surrender everything to the government? Yes, Secretary Galvez.
Sir, we have a simultaneous program with the commissioning. We call it SALWN, meaning the SALW program, the small arms weapons registration. That's why we choose Basilan, because we would like to praise Basilan Governor Jim Hataman, because he was able to implement the SALW, wherein 4,500 firearms had been fully registered. And it was agreed that these firearms later will be handled in some sort of a swapping with the socioeconomic programs. In fact, there are instances that two MILF groups, they surrendered high-powered firearms after they were settled with the RIDO, and we saw that the power of the governor, the influence of the governor with the MILF and the MLF, we were able to gather the firearms. In fact, we have also a program National Task Force on Anti-Private Armed Group, wherein the AAP and the PNP were directed by both the SILG and the DND to recover all the loose firearms. For the information of the body, during the time that I think in 2018, one of the governor in the BARM, he surrendered a sizable amount of weapons, including 12 50 caliber machine gun.
Yes.
So these are the things that we are doing simultaneously with the decommissioning, and we are also encouraging all the armed group that in the future we will also gather all the unregistered firearms.
Yes, Secretary Galvez, I'd just like to go back to Attorney Raisa. So, nagkasundo sa 40,000 na combatants, nagkasundo ba sa number of guns?
For those that are owned by the organization, yes.
But no number was stipulated, no
7,000.
definition, no identity of said firearms.
I think the number is 7,500.
How many?
7,500.
So talagang mula sa poll, talagang 7.5 lang yan. So konti lang talaga, hindi siya nagmamatch dun sa 40,000.
Yes.
Tama ba?
Yes, Your Honor, because there are, in the agreement, there's decommissioning of weapons, and there's also what the good secretary said about the small arms and light weapons program.
Yes, putting that aside because that doesn't seem to be the question right now. How did you determine the identity of the 40,000 combatants? Na-verify ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor, there's also a vetting process during the decommissioning of the combatants.
Was there a vetting process with the guns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, but you told me basta 7.5
For
lang.
the 4,000 that have already been decommissioned.
No, the 7.5 that were earlier identified and agreed upon, attorney.
Yes, the rest has not been decommissioned, Your Honor, and that
No,
would
I'm
be
lost. You
vetted.
said that early on, during the negotiations following the CAB and the organic laws passage, there were two agreements. First, the number of the combatants, which was 40,000.
Mhm.
I'm not certain how you came upon that number. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the authentication process. And secondly, you said that there was an agreement as to the 7,500 guns only. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, Your Honor.
And thereafter, was there an effort to identify these firearms?
Upon decommissioning, Your Honor. So
So you
during
take
that,
the word of the surrenderies or the decommissioned MI, you take their word for it that those are the MI guns and not their personal guns.
I think it is,
Parang ala chamba yata yun.
I think, Your Honor, the leadership also vets. It's not just the individual combatant, but
Whose
the
leadership, please? Also the MI.
Yes, Your Honor.
And who verified on the part of the government?
The independent decommissioning body, Your Honor, which is.
So the Philippine government had nothing to do with the determination of combatants as
we have,
well as weapons.
We have a representative, General Ardo, who is.
Yes, but it's a single representative surrounded with Turkey, Norway, Japan, and others. Is that correct?
Brunei.
And Brunei, that's
Yes.
correct. So
Yes.
the Philippines is one, MI is one,
Yes,
and the rest are all foreign.
yes.
Paano nila malalaman kung totoo o hindi?
We have also local DMATs. We called it DMATs. They are the one verifying defect.
Local what po?
We called it VMATs.
Sino-sino yon? Pero kasasabi lang ninyo na hindi siya yung final authority. Yung final authority, yung independent commission. Actually, nalilito ako dahil napakaraming grupo. May task force on decommissioned combatants and their communities. May task force balik loob under AO number 10. Now you're telling me that there's a local B-match. Who really is in charge? Po.
Ma'am, for the decommissioning process, we have a third party involved. It's the independent decommissioning body headed by a Norwegian Turkish as the chairman. Turkish, ma'am. Yes. And the vice chairman and the chief of staff. And we have two members from the Philippine government and two members from the MILF party. On the part of the decommissioning, we involve the verification, monitoring, and assistant teams from the AFP, PNP, and we also have international members from the Brunei and Norway. So this composition are the one verifying if
No,
the
but you've just mentioned an entirely new body, local B-match. I don't understand. Sino naman yon at ano naman ang...
they are
papel
part
nila?
of the IDB, ma'am, in verifying the through the identity of the combatants and their firearms for decommissioning.
Because there has been a lot of controversy over the identification of the combatants itself, no? What is the distinction with the task force on decommissioned combatants at saka yung isa pang task force balik loob? Ang dami kasing grupo, nahihilo ako.
Your Honor, Task Force Balik Loob is under the DND. It is involving the CPP-NPA, mostly the CPP-NPA, and also the other armed group. And based on their data, the Task Force Balik Loob accomplishments that a total of 43,192 surrenderies.
Teka, ganito na lang.
I-
Yung task force decommissioning,
Is
alin
different.
yung concerned agencies? Tapos yung task force balik loob, sino yung contributors dyan? Sinong kasama dyan?
Your Honor,
Yes, please.
yes, the task force balik loob, as created by the
Oh,
AO, then with the DND as the overseer is the task is to integrate all the government's efforts in the rebel reintegration program.
Eh di ba ganun din yung task force decommission
Separate. Focus po yun, ma'am, sa MILF.
sa
Yung
MI?
lead and partner agencies of the task force
Pero
include
pare-pareho yung mga partner agencies nila.
yes, ma'am,
They're
but
almost the same.
naka-focus po ito, majority of the TFBL's integration process now center on the CTG, the Communist Terrorists.
Overlap yan? Parang
Wala naman, ma'am, because
nag-wind down na ba yung decommission kasi na-identify na nila pagkatapos nung turnover na dito sa Balikloob? Ganun ba yun?
hindi po, ma'am. Iba po yung sa decommissioning kasi, focusing on the MILF. The Task Force Balisloob has partner agencies like DILG, NHA, OPAPRO, OP, DSWD.
But so does the task force on decommissioned combatants. Yun din ang membership
Pero
for
mas
reintegration.
malaki po ang involvement ng TFBL on the CTGs, ma'am.
I see. I'm a little bit lost because you seem to have the same membership. Is there a mechanism for collaboration with external entities? I'm aware that there are a lot of foreign agencies, including the USAID, the Japanese, and so on, who have given aid and technical assistance.
The task Force Balikloob collaborates with government agencies. It is the government agencies if it has international partners that conduct the engagement, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, if you will, hihingi na lang ako ng updated CTREP sa decommissioning kasi hindi pa tayo na-update dito sa Senado. Matagal-tagal na rin. Whether you count it as 5 years or as 10 years, pre-COVID and post-COVID, we have not been updated. So maybe have an update and a breakdown on who exactly are the remaining combatants who have failed to be decommissioned. What is the status of those who have been decommissioned? Yung 26,000. At saka, bakit yung mga baril nakatenga pa rin sa Camp Abubakar? Samantalang sinabi na i-render unserviceable at the soonest possible opportunity. Ba't ang tagal? Higit sa lahat, talaga bang madadali ninyo yung deadline ng 2025 election? Kasi ang bagal po natin, 10 taon na to, sa papel, sabi ninyo, 5 years, matagal pa rin. Whereas in fact, we only have a little over a year to comply with the deadline. So I'll just request documents po through the chairman and the committee. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Senator Amy. Can you please furnish an update to this committee? Mga 1 week? Pwede.
Sir, we will submit it immediately, sir. The
Alright.
updates on the decommission.
Thank you, Secretary Galvez. This might be off topic. No? Meron lang phone-in question. One question lang, Senator Rafi. May nagpapatanong lang, no? On the proposal of former President Duterte for Mindanao to secede from the Philippines, how will the plan to gather support for this through a signature drive affect the government's effort to attain lasting peace in Mindanao?
Sir, that move will really affect the comprehensive peace process. That's why we were very thankful that we were able to rally the support of the Bangsamoro people, wherein they are not with this movement, and they will abide with the agreement with the government.
Okay, are you in favor of President Duterte's plan?
I am not in favor. I strongly reject his proposal.
All right. Okay, Senator Tulfo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magkano pong binibigay na cash assistance sa bawat surrendery po?
For the MILF, we are giving 100,000
100,000.
unconditional cash transfer.
100,000. Okay, ilan po yung surrendery?
We term it decommission, Your Honor.
Hindi, ilan po yung nag-surrender na nabigyan ng 100,000 each?
26,132.
26,132. Ilan po yung baril?
We have 4,625.
So, 26,000 ang nabigyan ng 100,000 each. at ang kapalit ay 4,000 na barel. Hindi ho ba kayo nag-conduct na investigation bakit ganito kalaking discrepancy? At ano po naging result ng inyong investigation? At meron ho bang nanagot? Meron ho bang nasibak?
Sir, actually, sir, that's our demand to the implementing panel, considering that, as we have said, we have a security judge.
Sorry sir, sorry. Ang tanong ko po, nag-conduct na ho ba kayo ng investigation? Kasi ang laking pera po dito and discrepancy. 26 versus 4,000. We're talking about the hundreds of millions na dito siguro.
Sir, we investigated the documents of our agreement, and we have not seen any document that
Kaya nga po, yung nag-disburse ng nagbigay ng pera, 100,000 each surrendering na umabot ng 26,000, sino po yun? Sino-sino yun? Kasi ang gagawin nyo lang po, 26,000, 100,000 each. 2.6 billion. Tapos 4,000 lang yung baril na, di ba kapalit yan baril, di ba? So, sino ho yung namigay ng pera, nag-abot ng pera, nag-process ng mga surrendering?
it was the DSWD who processed, but the IDB,
No,
the
it
one
should not be the DSWD. Dapat kayo po sa military para kayo po nagbe-bet to make sure na ito'y talagang surrendery. Di ba? Bago nyo sana bigyan ng pera, nasa inyong baril. Pera kapalit ng baril. 100,000 po itong pinag-usapan natin, hindi po ito 1,000.
based on the agreement, Your Honors, we have commissioned the International Decommissioning Body,
Kaya nga po,
including the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
kaya nga po, sino nga po itong members, itong mga membro ng body? Ulitin ko pong tanong ko huwag na ho tayo magpaikot-ikot, sir. Pag binigyan sila ng 100,000 ng DSWD, dapat may kapalit yan na baril. Tama?
This is not the
Hindi sir, ganun dapat talaga, di ba? Dapat nag-match. Ba't ka magsusurrender kung wala ka namang baril? Eh kung magawa-gawa lang ng istorya na ako ay MILF.
Your Honor, we are implementing the peace agreement. The peace agreement does not specify.
Well, then sir, ba't kayo pumayag? Then wag nyo sana i-release yung 100,000. Di ba sir? Ganun lang kasimple. Hindi nyo sana ni-release yung 100,000 doon sa nagsusurrender na walang baril na kapalit. Ganun lang po yun eh. Kasi kung hindi natin implement yung ganung klaseng polisiya, anybody can come to you and said, ako po yung magsusurrender, ako po yung MILF. Ganun ba? Halika, ito yung 100,000. Punta ka sa DSWD, ito yung papel na pakita mo doon para bigyan 100,000. So, naglulukuhan po tayo. 2.6 billion unaccounted for. Saan po napunta to? Kasi kung ganito rin lang, ako po isa sa mga gagawa na hakbang na bawasan po yung budget ninyo from 7 billion, tumaas pa nga kayo, 1 point something billion. You started with 1.9 billion and now 7 billion. Sa kabila nitong kapalpakan na nangyari.
Sir,
Nabigyan pa kayo ng increase, kumbaga, ang kakapal naman po ng mukha nyo dyan. Sorry ha, ang kakapal ng mukha nyo. Meron na nangyaring anomalya. Para sa akin, this is a big anomaly. May nangyari ng anomalya, may gana pa kayong humingi ng increase. Baka next year, hihingi pa kayo, gawin nyo pang 12 billion. Gawin na natin 50 billion. Gusto mo, 100 billion na lang.
Sir, the agreement was made during the time of President Aquino, and we are just implementing
Oo nga po, sir. Pero nandun pa sa agreement na kahit na wala kang baril, tumaas ka lang kamay, sabi mo lang MILF ka, bigyan ka 100,000. Nakalagay pa sa agreement na yun, show me.
The agreement says that the 40,000 will be decommissioned. The number of 40,000.
Sir, you're hearing me, but you're not listening to me. Tinutumbok ko po dito yung anomalya. Kasi po, di ba, pag nag-surrender yung isang MILF, na-decommission na siya, anong patunay na siya ay member ng MILF? Ang isang patunay dyan yung baril para mabigyan siya ng cash assistance na 100,000 pesos. So therefore, pag may pupunta sa inyo dyan, nagsabi MILF, surrendery ako, nasaan yung baril mo? Alam nga ba nang pupunta sila, may daladalang batuta lang o may dalang gulok. MILF ako, ito ang armas ko, gulok. Ito 100,000, hindi man siguro ganun po, di ba? Common sense lang po yun. So malaking anomalya. Kaya nga po, kung ako dapat sa sitwasyon mo, may nasibak na, may nakulong na. Totoo yan. Kasi laki anomalya eh. 40,000 versus 4,000. 46,000 versus 132 versus 4,000.
Follow-up question lang in line with the question of Senator Tulfo. Kanino niya ba binibigay 100,000? Sa surrender ba mismo o sa organization?
Combatant, the IDB fully identified and verified the identity. In fact, they can.
Mismo sa
Yes, sir.
surrendery?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Kasi meron mga aligasyon na merong mga hindi umaabot na total na 100,000, may mga cut pa raw.
Sir,
At hindi talaga buo na 100,000 ang tinatanggap ng mga surrenderies.
based on the decommissioning process, most of them will have the biometrics, Your Honor.
Pinapipirma niya ba na
Yes, yes, sir.
nakatanggap ng
They
100,000?
They have the biometrics ID. So it is fully identified by the IDB because the IDB is the one commissioned by the both panels.
Yeah.
And it is being given to the individuals, Your Honor.
Kasi nakakatakot niyan. Pagka sa organisasyon yung binigay 100,000 kada surrendery, baka naman lalo silang pinopondohan pa ng gobyerno yung kanilang recruitment plan.
Mr. Chair, okay, pwede magsingit. Ito lang po ang gusto kong mangyari. Gusto ko, kung merong susunod na hearing, yung result ng gagawin yung investigasyon ngayon, sino-sinong involved sa korupsyon. May korupsyon dito, whether you like it or not. Meron po, ang laking discrepancy. Mag-imbestiga po kayo, dapat may managot. Ang laking pera po dito, ang nawala sa gobyerno.
Your Honor,
Dahil kung hindi po, sa susunod na Senate hearing, patatapyasan ko kayo ng budget.
Your Honor,
You can count on me on that.
I could say that, proudly say that there is no corruption in this decommissioning. We are just following the agreement.
Sir,
Do not tell us that we are corrupt.
I'm not saying you're corrupt. What I'm saying here is, meron pong mga tao dyan sa loob ng inyong organization. I'm not saying you are corrupt. I'm saying there are people there that are not doing their job or maybe they're involved in corruption. Because if they're not involved, common sense lang po ito, Secretary Galvez. Pag nagsabi ka ikaw ay combatant, di ba combatant meaning, meron kang baril. So kung meron kang baril, isusurrender mo yung kapalit ng 100,000.
Your Honor, the categories of the firearms is not only individual firearms. We have also cruiser weapons. That cruiser weapons, meron po yung mga 5 o 6 po yung tao na.
And then sana magmamatch pa rin. Isama mo na yung machine gun, isama mo yung cruiser weapon, kung ano pa mga weapon, kasama na dapat din.
But I definitely take offense, Senator, that you are already telling us that there is a corruption. I believe that is not a correct accusation to us.
Well, sir, I'm sorry. I'll stand by what I said. Meron pong corruption dito. Masaktan ka na, masaktan ka, I don't care. I'm talking on behalf of the taong bayan. Kasi nga, sir, very clear ng discrepancy dahil kung hindi po, kung hindi po talaga, kung wala po talagang korupsyon dito, sana nagmamatch tong numbers. Hindi po nagmamatch eh. At saka isa pa, dapat nag-imbestiga na kayo dati pa. Pinaliwanag nyo sa amin yung discrepancy. Ano nangyari? Yun lang po yun eh.
Your Honors,
Kasi we're talking of hundreds of thousands, may mga allegation pa nga, hindi nga natanggap daw yung pera.
Your Honor, we are there. We are validating all
Then prove to us na walang korupsyon. Then sabihin nyo sa amin bakit ganito kalaking discrepancy. Pag napaliwanag mo ng maayos, then babawiin kong sinabi ko rito.
Your Honor,
Mag-apologize pa ako sa iyo. Pero unless hindi mo ba ipaliwanag, then I'll stand by what I said, may corruption.
Your Honor, the commissioning body is an international body that really facilitated the decommissioning.
International bodies facilitating, pero sino nag-release ng pera? Tayo, Pilipino. DSWD nag-release ng
Yes,
pera.
but
To the recommendation of the body, kung ano may body yung sinasabi nyo.
actually the body will not say that the individual is already validated. Considering that international body is those are experts from
I know, sir, but the only, you're in the military, right? Define combatant. Define combatant.
combatant can be the actual
Yes.
individuals
Yes.
holding the firearms.
Holding firearms. So, ibig sabihin, meron siyang firearms.
Yes.
So,
the
your definition, galing sa'yo, your definition of combatant is someone holding a firearm.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
where is that firearm ng
Sir,
kumbatan na sumurrender na binigyan 100,000. Dapat magmamatch yan. Galing na mismo sa iyo. Kumbatan is the one holding the firearm.
you have,
Where are the firearms?
sir, ito nga natin sa ano.
Hindi, last na sir, ano. At saka isa pa sir, hindi ka ba nabulabog dito? 26,000 surrenderies na bigyan ng 100,000, umabot ng 2.6 billion and 4,000 lang firearms. Kasi kung ako sir, sorry, I'm not saying you're corrupt. Sinabi ko sa loob ng organisasyon. Kung ako sir, mababahala na ako. Kung ako talagang hell break loose.
Sir, I have said earlier that the decommissioning of combatants have many process, including the decommissioning plus the SALW and also the DPAGs. DPAGs are the one in charge on those firearms that we considered as loose that had been given to the MILF and the MNLF. Those firearms that are personally owned, it will have a different program, and we believe.
So ang sinasabi niyo sir, okay, nabanggit ang kanina personal. So may pupuntang combatant, may baril ako. Hindi ko surrender to kasi personal ko to. Ganun ba yung nangyari? Kaya yun yung difference ng 26,000 to 4,000 lang na baril. Kasi karamihan sa kanila personal, declared as personal firearms. Tulad sinabi kanina ni Ma'am Raisa. Or sympathizers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Pumayag kayo ng ganon? Eh di dapat, wag nyo bigyan ng 100,000. Dapat pera kapalit ng baril. So, sorry sir, then sabihin natin walang korupsyon. Okay. Then, katangahan. Again, I'm sorry for the word. Sorry for the word. Kasi, sige, tanggapin ko, yung difference is sa 26,000 sa 4,000 ay sapagkat karamihan doon ay may mga baril pero hindi sinurrender sapagkat personal use nila. O ba't tayo pumayag, sir? Kasi kung ako, sir, hindi ako papayag. Yun lang po. Sir, mag-imbestiga po kayo, sir. I'm not saying again you're corrupt. There is corruption here. Mag-imbestiga po kayo, sir. And dapat, head should roll dito. Meron talagang kalokohan dito. Hindi mo i-admit yun, sir, pero I'll stand by what I said. Maliban na lang, sir, kung ikaw ay nag-imbestiga at napakita mo sa amin, klarong-klaro, na kung bakit ganitong discrepancy, then babawiin kung sinabi ko. Pero kapag hindi niyo po napakita na ipaliwanag na maayos, I'll stand by what I'm saying here na there is corruption. And sa susunod po na hearing, pababawasan ko po yung budget ninyo. Pataas ng pataas 1.9 billion, naging 7 billion. Heck. Tapos baka next year, magiging 10 billion na. Wag naman po. I don't have anything against you, Secretary Galvez. I don't even know you. Yung sa akin, trabaho lang. May nakita akong kalokohan dito, pinupunan ko po. Wag ho kayo magalit. But magalit na kayo na magalit, I don't give a heck.
Sir,
What I'm doing is investigating in aid of legislation. Kasi po talaga it doesn't match. Tatanggapin ko na lang kasi sabi ni Secretary Galvez, then I'll accept it as Bible truth or as factual. Anyway, sir, bago ko umalis, ito lang habiling ko. Please investigate anong nangyari dito sa napakalaking discrepancy. And then sino po yung mga taong nagkamali dito? Yung mga taong nagbigay ng pera o yung nag-process at nagbigay ng papel sa DSWD para mabigyan siya ng 100,000 each. And then, stop na po natin yung siguro if we need to change the law na kapag ikaw ay surrendery, pwede mo hindi surrender yung firearm mo kasi personal use mo yon. Kalokohan yun. Ba't ka nang surrender kung hindi mo isusurrender yung personal firearm mo? So meron ka pa rin palang firearm. Pwede kang bumalik din.
That
O
was
pumunta sa pagiging member ng private army.
That was what I was saying a while ago, Senator Tulfo. Kung talagang gusto magbalik loob itong mga rebelde, di sana pati yung mga personal na gamit nila, kung yung mga pinigay sa kanilang mga sympathizers sa organization, dapat isurrender na nila sa gobyerno para at least sincere sila na magbalik loob to return to the fold of the government. So, siguro we'll conduct another hearing. Before that,
So, Secretary Galvez, sir, sana sa susunod na hearing, mag-attend ako. Gusto ko po magbigay ka ng report sa committee na ito, yung inyo pong findings. Bakit po napakalaking discrepancy ito? Ano nangyari? Di ba? Yun lang po talaga. Kasi sa ngayon, kaya nainit ulo ko dahil hindi po naging klaro sa akin. Marami kayong binanggit ng mga body, foreign body, whatever. Still, for me, it doesn't connect. Para mag-connect para sa akin, kailangan masabi mo lang kung bakit nagkaroon ng ganito klaseng discrepancy. Pwede mo nang gamitin yung dahilan na lahat po yan dahil pinayagan namin na mag-surrender pero yung kanilang baril, huwag i-surrender. Yung nga sabi ni Senator Jinggoy, ba't mo pa i-declare ang surrender kung hindi mo pala i-surrender yung baril mo dahil i-declare mo na personal use? Do you agree, Secretary? Sir? Do you agree with me?
I agree with you, sir. But the problem in Mindanao, Your Honors, is really the mindset of the people. There is some sort of sir, actually nakita natin every election, nakita naman natin na meron ding mga private armed groups ang mga local officials. Kaya nga ano po namin, kaya nga po ang programa namin ginagawa ngayon in order to resolve this discrepancy is to involve the local government units, basically the governors, which we have seen a good result in Basilan, Your Honor. That
Sir, walang kinalaman dito mga governors. Ang may problema dito, yung mga nag-process ng mga surrenderies, ng mga combatants kung tawagin nyo kanina. Combatants, in your definition, is the one holding
Yes.
the firearm.
yes,
Tama?
Your Honor, Your
So,
Honor.
anong kinalaman po ni Governor, ni Mayor?
Sir, ito po nga natin sa combatant sa MILF as an organization. Normally, kami mga military, pagka nagkakaroon po ng enkwentro, matagal po ang enkwentro. Pero yung isang baril, kunyari, mayroong tumumba, mayroong pumupulot na unarmed. So yung combatant doesn't mean na mayroon siyang baril. Kasi ang ano po natin, ang configuration, sir ito yun, no?
Teka muna. So, pupunta sa gera yung combatant na walang baril. Pag meron tinamaan dyan na sundalo o kasama niya, akin na, ako naman. Ganon?
Yes, sir.
Ano,
Yes, sir.
pelikula?
Actually, sir,
I
ito,
don't think so.
Sir, actually, sir, yan ang tinatawag naming pintakasi. We call it, saan, sir, yung sa, I've been in Mindanao for long time. Ang ginagawa, nangyayari po,
So,
sir,
ibig sabihin, 22,000 of these combatants ay mga pentakasi
actually, sir, ganun, sir, na nangyayari, sir.
na nag-aantay lang na merong matumba,
Yes, sir.
may mamatay na kasama nila para iti-take over yung baril.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm not in the military, pero I don't buy that. Sorry, I'm doing this in defense of the military as well. Kasi po, in fact, marami pang tatanungin later, pero later na lang, kung tutuusin, talaga medyo hesitant ako dito sa amnesty program. Ang dami na nilang pinatay ng mga sundalo, marami na mga nabiyuda, naging orphan. Dapat meron tayong matinding programa na to make sure na itong peace process na ito, amnesty program na ito, hindi mapagsamantalahan, not only from the other side, but also from within, na hindi magagamit ito sa korupsyon. Kawawa naman yung mga sundalo natin. Tapos, sasabihin natin, peace tayo ng peace. Pagkatapos, mag-ambush itong mga NPA. Tapos, ang palagi natin pinakikinggan, yung nasa Norway, yung patay na, sino yan? Dapat namang kinakausap ninyo yung si Joe Masison, Netherlands. Dapat na kinakausap nyo yung mga kadre mismo sa mga iba't ibang probinsya. Hindi tayo nagpag-usap sa mga tao na nasa abroad. Sir, ilan na ang mga nabiyuda? Ilan na ang mga naging orphan? Dapat bigyan natin halaga yung buhay ng mga sundalo at mga polis natin. Huwag natin basta-basta na lang, sige, peace tayo, peace amnesty para, sorry again para pagkakitaan. And again, I'm not saying it's you. Huwag ko kayo maging masyadong defensive because I'm not referring to you. I'm referring to the body, to the organization na nagpo-process nitong pagsusurrender na para sa akin, paninindigan ko, pinagkakitaan. Hindi ho kayo naawa sa mga sundalo? Hindi kayo naawa sa mga polis?
Sir, I beg to disagree na pagkakitaan po, sir, yung decommissioning because I myself really implementing this. I would like to really to...
Then show me proof. Kasi pag
I will show
nakita ka sa
proof,
akin ng proof, then babawiin ko.
I will show proof, sir.
Sa susunod na hearing.
Yes, I will show proof that we are not corrupt.
Okay. Then show me proof. that you're not corrupt. Again, I'm not saying you are corrupt. I'm saying merong corruption. Kung sino yan, that's your job to find out. Ba't ka nagagalit, Secretary?
Because you are accusing us that our organization is corrupt.
Yes, because napakalaking discrepancy. Kahit na siguro itong si Juan de la Cruz niya sa kalye, makita itong sobrang laking discrepancy. There is a problem here. And we're talking about billions of pesos here. Kung pinag-usapan na po dito ay 200,000, 2 million, pwede, I'll let it go. Pero if we're talking about by the billions, come on, sir. There's something wrong. I'm not saying that you're corrupt. I don't know, ba't ka nagagalit? Talaga merong corruption dito. I'll stand by what I said. There is corruption. Unless may prove nyo sa akin, then come back sa next hearing, prove to me na walang corruption, then ako mismo magsasabi wala palang corruption.
Okay, we will just,
And I would even apologize. Pero kapag hindi nyo po napatunayan sa amin, naging klaro sa amin, may account itong 2.6 billion, then I'll say corruption is corruption. Period. Thank you.
okay, we will just, thank you, Senator Tulfo. Senator.
Mr. Chair, may huling hirit lang ako, naalala ko bigla dahil nabanggit nga ni Senator Tulfo yung 7 billion budget ng OPAP, may additional 2.6 billion para sa decommissioning. Additional po ba yun o kalakip na nung 7B?
Ma'am, yung ano po natin, yung increase po is fully for pamana. This is a socio-economic project. Which
Ayun na nga, pero yung 2.6 may pamana rin nakapaloob doon eh.
actually, sir, ma'am, yung ano, yung
O sige, i-breakdown na lang natin. Wag na tayong mag-away dito. Mas maigi na, nakatulad ng sinabi ni Senator Tulfo at yung hinihingi ko kanina, i-breakdown po natin yung 7 billion ng OPAP, yung 1.9 na lumabas sa 2.6, yung karagdagan na 440 million na kare-release po lamang ng DBM, at itong huli na naalala ko, meron pa pala kayong trust fund, yung multi-country donor support for the normalization project. At andito yung support mula sa iba't ibang bansa, katulad ng USAID, ng Japan at iba't iba pang mga bansa. Pwede bang malaman kung magkano yung nasa trust fund na natitira at yung mga dating naibigay, paano ginamit?
Mama, for the Pamana project which comprises the increase, basically
Hindi, kabisado namin yung pamana po. Tinatanong ko yung foreign funded trust fund. Magkano na riyan? At bakit hindi binibigay yung breakdown?
Mama, we will submit the complete report considering that we have many donors, including EU, Japan, and
Can you
also,
give me a rough estimate of how much money is involved?
for the EU, they
Hindi
provided.
lahat, yung total. Tsaka na lang yung breakdown. More or less.
I don't have the figure right now, Your Honor.
O para sa EU, for example.
EU, they have given the PD BARM. We called it
Hindi, magkano?
that is 24 million euros.
24 million euro. Tapos yung sa US,
US we have not received any from the US because they have given
o
it.
Japan,
Japan, we have some support, but it is being given.
Norway.
The funds
Yeah.
are not given to us, Your Honor.
Yeah. Ang mahalaga, katulad ng sinabi ni Senator Tulfo at ng chairman ko, talagang ibigay natin para maging transparent at walang turuan, walang sisihan. Dahil inaalam lang natin kahit donasyon yan, talagang kinakailangan na maging accountable pa rin po tayo. So at the earliest possible opportunity as requested by the chairman within 1 week, please submit the total funds that have been collected in the trust fund and the disposition thereof. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. We will submit.
Secretary Galvez, 1.4 billion, sabi mo 40 million euros, that's 1.4 billion.
Being it is a World Bank ang nagano po fund manager po niyan. Wala po sa amin po 'yan.
Wala.
Wala
Hindi-
po sa amin po 'yan.
Hindi napunta sa inyo.
Hindi po napupunta po sa amin po 'yan kasi ang ano po 'yan, diretso po sa BARM po napupunta 'yan.
Pumunta sa BARM.
Yes po, ang ano po niyan is the SPA is being signed by myself, the DFA and also with the Department of Finance. And the fund manager of this are World Bank and also the UNDP.
Pero kasama dapat sa trabaho niyo po, sir, na i-monitor to make sure na
Yes,
itong
yes, yes,
pera
sir,
ay
yes,
well
sir.
spent.
Yes, sir. Actually,
So,
sir,
give us an accounting of this 1.4 billion. Saan po napunta to? Paano ito na-disperse? Paano ito nagastos?
actually, magaganda po yung yung programa, especially yung Japan. Ang programa nila recently na we have signed with the DFA is yung yung food for schools. They're giving food for students, 15,000 targeted students. At the same time, may local production po, yung food na ginagawa po nila is locally produced by the farmers.
Yeah, sabi nga po kanina ni Senator Amy, para hindi ko kayo pagdudahan, hindi ko kayo pag-isipan, dapat transparent po lahat. Dapat lahat documented.
Yes,
Kasi
yes.
kung, sir, salita ka lang, sabi mo, the body, commission, pagdududahan talaga kayo. Hindi nyo ako masisisi na I'll cry corruption. Because wala kayong mga dokumento, wala kayong mga ebidensya. So tulad nito, 1.4 billion, okay, sabi mo, pumunta sa BARM. Pero dapat, since dumaan sa inyo or hindi dumaan sa kamay nyo, kasama sa trabaho nyo, i-monitor to make sure itong 1.4 billion are well spent money, hindi po napunta rin sa corruption on the other side.
Yeah.
Di ba, sir?
Bali po yung po yan, yung implementation po niyan is being implemented by the foreign fund managers, which is basically yung foreign fund managers are
Pero dapat, sir, mag-assisting kayo. Kasi
kasama po.
ano alam ng mga foreign bank managers sa proseso natin, sa kultura, sa tradisyon.
Actually
Pero
po,
ang
sir,
trust fund, di ba nasa pangalan po ng AFP?
sir, yung trust fund po, yung Bangsamoro National Normalization Trust Fund is being handled by the World Bank.
By the World Bank.
Yes po, bali po ang proseso po niyan, Your Honors, is that yung BARM at saka po yung yung foreign funder, mayroong mga intended na mga beneficiaries.
Pero sino pong nag-identify ng mga beneficiaries?
BARM po ang nag-identified.
But they go through you. Kasi kayong may
bali,
trust fund.
bali po lang po ang sa akin is para lang po sa special power of agreement para po ma-approvean po yung pondo na mai-transfer po doon sa BARM.
Kaya nga, pero meron dapat talagang
Meron po kami
proseso na kailangan dumaan pa rin sa inyo.
Yes po, bali po ang
Since dumaan sa inyo, dahil kasama sa trabaho ninyo na alamin to make sure na yung donation na dumarating from World Bank well spent, yung ibig sabihin.
Yes sir. Actually sir, we have the validation and monitoring. Kaya nga po may mga
So pakitanong lang po sa BARM paano po nagastos ng 1.4 billion? Pwede yung euros?
Yes sir, we will provide you this.
And all other donations?
Yes.
Kasi magdududa po yung tao pag hindi nyo po na-account to.
Yeah po.
Thank you, sir.
For information po Senator Tulfo, yung sa sir, yung decommissioning po ng combatants, ang pera po is tinatransfer po natin sa DSWD. So wala po sa namin, sa opisina po namin.
Alam ko po yun, sir. Pero kayo po ang nag-identify. Tama? Hindi naman magbibigay ang perang DSWD kung walang go signal sa inyo.
IDB po ang nag-identify ng combatants.
Sir, kayo po ng sundalo, mga sa military, ang nagsasabi kung sino ang combatant o hindi.
Yes sir.
Exactly. And then through you, the DSWD will release the 100,000 pesos. Yun po yung sinasabi ko.
Yes, sir.
Kaya nga sir, para hindi natin magpaikot-ikot, sa susunod na hearing, gusto ko po accounting of this 2-point-something billions. Dahil kung hindi sir nyo ma-account na mabuti, maasahan nyo po, harangin ko po yung nyo,
Yes, we will make a presentation to your honor.
budget.
We will make a presentation.
At last na naman po,
Yeah.
paano po binibet yung pagbibigyan ng amnesty sa lahat na po, whether NPA and MILF?
May proseso po ang
Yeah, actually, I asked that question already. Sige, you can answer it again, attorney.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon po, sir. For the applicants for amnesty, within 5 days upon the filing of the application, we refer the application to the NBI, to the AFP and PNP for vetting, including the court and the prosecutors, who are members of the local amnesty board, sir.
So PNP, NBI,
AFP,
AFP.
prosecutors, and the
Okay.
courts. The court.
So very good. Kung ganun, okay sa akin yun. Kasi nandun yung AFP especially. Ngayon, ang sunod kong katanungan, ano po yung guarantee na yung mga nabigyan natin ng amnesty ay hindi na babalik sa bundok? Halimbawa sa NPA. Meron ba tayong mga programang malinaw to make sure na sila ay hindi na babalik sa dating gawi?
Insofar, sir, as the National Amnesty Commission, sir, wala po kaming guarantee. For the social programs, it is with the OPAPRU and other government agencies.
Okay. Ano pong programa meron tayo para masiguro na itong mga nabibigyan ng amnesty ay hindi na po mamundok muli?
Meron po tayong pong na-establish na transformation roadmap for the combatants, families, and their communities po, Your Honors. It has been approved by the Security and Justice and Peace Cluster.
Ito po naman nabibigyan ng amnesty. Lahat po ba? Kahit na siya ay ng rape, siya ay nagnakaw ng kalabaw, ng loob ng mga bahay para may pagkain yung kanyang grupo, kasama to sa nabibigyan ng amnesty?
Mayroon pong qualification, Your Honors, na yung mga crimes against chastity and also humanity, hindi po kasama po ito.
Kasi may mga balita, especially sa ABB, na balik loob sila, hindi sila na monitor, then nagagamit sila kuminsan ng mga politiko, gun for hire. Nagagamit sila ng mga grupo sa assassination. Do we have a monitoring mechanism?
We have a very strong monitoring committee. We have the Joint Enforcement and Monitoring Committee. In fact, Your Honors, nandito po si Kaingka. Siya po ang head ng ABB na assure that wala pong ganun na nangyayari na bumabalik po sa ano.
Okay, Ma'am Maria, so kayo po ang nagmo-monitor
Good
na para masiguro na yung nag-surrender at nakakuha na ng benepisyo sa ating gobyerno ay hindi na po mamumundok?
Opo, Your Honor, Senator Tulfo, Senator Estrada. Magandang hapon po. Kung ano po, babasahin ko po muna kung pwede allow ninyo yung position paper ng RPMP-RPBB regarding the amnesty and then po soon sa paglilinaw po kaugnay sa monitoring. Pwede po. Okay. Ako po ay pumasok sa CPP-NPA nung ako ay 17 years old po, drop out ng college, panahon ng first quarter storm po. Naging bahagi kami nung nag-critique.
Sino
at
po presidente no nung pumasok kayo sa NPA?
Bago po nag-martial law, si President Ferdinand Marcos po, nung sa
Okay.
CPP-NPA na time namin. Sige. RPMP-RPABB, position paper on House Committee Resolution number 19. In its founding Congress in 1998, the Revolutionaryong Partido ng Manggagawa Pilipinas, Revolutionary Proletarian Army, Alex Bongcayao Brigade, now organized as the Kapatiran, decided to pursue the path of non-armed struggle to pursue social change and work for the well-being of the working masses, as it criticized and condemned the error of the peasant war strategy of the CPP-NPA. Recognizing government objectives and program to strengthen democracy and promote peace and unity after the February People's Power, it entered into peace talks with the government with the intent of divesting itself of the instruments of violence it inherited from the CPP-NPA incorrect strategy and transforming itself into a civilian socio-political organization for meaningful reforms. Starting with the exploratory talks brokered by staunch peace champions, the late Cardinal Jaime Sin and the late Heidi Yorak in 1999, the 2000 peace agreement between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the RPMP-RPABB was signed under the Estrada administration with the strong support and initiatives of the late Ambassador Danding Cuangho. The RPMP-RPABB forged the agreement with the government under the principles of honor, dignity, and justice for all, in observing terms and conditions for cessation of hostilities, with a commitment to final disposition of forces and arms.
The government committed on confidence-building measures that would provide concrete assistance for the release of political prisoners, restoration of civil political rights of members, and provision for impact development projects to identified areas affected by the armed conflict with the group. The whole organization embarked on the journey of building trust on the sincerity of government to provide for the legitimization of the organization and members of the RPNP-RPABB for just and lasting peace. In 2019, the peace program of the Duterte administration ushered in the signing of the clarificatory implementing document to the 2000 peace agreement between the government of the Republic of the Philippines and the RPNP-RPA-ABB Tabara Paduano Group. We call that the CID, sir. Together with the final demobilization of the RPNP-RPA-ABB-TPG, which resulted in the actual turnover of 317 firearms with 264 explosives and 30,000 ammunitions. The implementation of concrete socio-economic, political, and security assistance to the 727 profiled RPNP-RPA-ABB members and identified communities is continuously making numerous milestones towards long-lasting cooperation to address root causes of armed conflict. We are grateful to all the men and women in government, on the government security forces, and local government units for sustaining support to our choice to pursue the non-violent path under the peace agreement with the government up to the present in the face of the many hardships and problems since the 2000 peace agreement was signed. The RPNP-RPA-ABB is now organized and government registered as the Kapatiran para sa Progresong Panlipunan Incorporated. It is implementing projects and working with the government on the full delivery of the CID provisions of socio-economic reintegration, security arrangements, disposition of forces and arms, the release of remaining political offenders, and an amnesty proclamation, full transformation of the organization and economic support to identified communities to address poverty. We are now asking for the concurrence of Senate on President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr.'s amnesty proclamation for the final delivery of government commitment to release remaining political offenders and resolution of cases to ensure the restoration of civil and political rights.
All right.
Since the anti-subversion law was repealed, numerous members of insurgents group
Ma'am,
have been charged.
Pwedeng
Yeah,
makakat lang, ano?
Yeah.
Mahaba pa ata yan. May tanong lang po ako, kasi sabi nyo, building trust and sincerity of the government.
yes.
Pakipaliwanag lang po, ma'am. Meron tayong peace process, nag-declare ng ceasefire, nang-ambush pa rin po yung mga NPA.
Hindi na
Ina-ambush pa rin po yung mga police at military. Marami pong ganung mga insidente, ma'am.
kami po,
Nakabalita po yan na
kami po,
patuloy pa rin po pang-ambush samantalang nasa ceasefire tayo.
yes po, Senator. Kami po, nag-split po kami sa CPP-NPA. Kaya ang pangalan ng grupo namin ay RPNP-RPABB.
Yeah, ma'am,
Since the
papakipaliwanag lang.
2000 peace agreement, may cessation of hostilities, wala na pong nangyaring
Okay.
military encounters or away between
Ma'am,
us
ma'am,
and the
pakipaliwanag lang.
government po.
Bakit po nasa diary po ito,
Opo.
nasa news na sabi ko nga, ceasefire, maybe it's not your group. Ano pong reason bakit hindi po sumusunod sa usapan yung NPA? Maybe it's not your group,
CPP-NPA.
CPP-NPA.
As
Na marami pong inaambush na sundalo,
Mm,
police,
mm.
syempre yung mga sundalo, kampante, magpatrolya din o gumawa ng trabaho nila, yung mga police, dahil ceasefire, tapos aambusin. Bakit po nangyari yon? Again, it might not be your group, pero what is the reason behind bakit?
Kami po,
Nangyari yun?
Honorable Senator, tingin namin hanggat hindi binibitiwan ng CPP-NPA ang panindigan nila ng overthrow of the government, at hindi sila pumasok sa agreement ng cessation of hostilities, talagang tuloy-tuloy po yung
Hindi, ang sinasabi
military
kasi,
offensives na ginagawa nila. So it means hindi sila seryoso
Teka
na
muna, ma'am,
i-pursue.
sorry po ma'am.
Opo.
Di ba may ceasefire na tayo? Kasi
Sa grupo namin,
on-
sir.
ongoing. Maybe it's not your group, maybe the other group o kung samang grupo. Pag may ceasefire, respetuhin natin yung ceasefire. Ang nangyari po
Yeah.
kasi, kadalasan talaga na nang-ambush pa rin ng mga police, nang-ambush ng military.
Mm.
And then ginagamit yung ceasefire para palakasin yung kanilang puwersa.
Yes,
Diba?
Opo.
So,
So,
para bang
wala silang sinseridad noon, Senator.
sila ang walang,
Wala
wag
po.
yung gobyerno. Yung gobyerno is sincere.
Sinasabi po namin
Thank
yan.
you.
Wala silang sinseridad.
Yung kabila.
Opo.
Okay. Gusto ko lang po. Ayoko kasing sabihin nyo hindi sincere yung gobyerno. Ang gobyerno po sincere from the get-go, from the very start.
Kaya napatunayan po namin sa
Salamat
bahagi
po.
namin.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Salamat din po.
Miss Maria Tabara,
Yes po.
curious lang po ako, no? Why did you enter that organization at an early age?
Spirit of the times. Idealist po tayo pag ganong edad po.
Saan kayo
Malakas din po yung
saan kayo nag-aaral noon? At the age of
Sa
17?
Siliman University po.
Diliman?
Your Honor. Siliman.
Siliman? Sa
Yeah, opo. Sa
Negros?
Dumaguete po.
Sa
Opo.
Dumaguete, yes.
Yes po.
Nagre-recruit ba sila ng ano noon? Noong panahon ninyo? May
Marami
estudyante?
kami po. Marami. Parang ala UP po. First quarters to. Marami po kaming mga aktivista noon. Tapos
Alright.
nung mag-martial law, nag-full-time, nag-drop out ang marami.
So, what prompted you to join that organization, yung CPP-NPA?
Sa akin po,
Didn't you believe in the government before?
nakikita
You
po sa
wanted- you wanted to overthrow the government by
Sa-
joining the CPP-NPA?
nakikita po naman sa palibot yung poverty, social injustice. Ang tatay ko po ay huwes noon, retired judge.
Oh,
At marami akong naririnig na istorya tungkol sa injustice.
hindi ba kayo pinigilan ng
Pinigilan
tatay niyo
po,
judge?
lumayas po ako.
okay?
Pinigilan po. So,
So how long did you last in that organization? Namundok ba kayo?
opo.
How long
Namundok.
did you stay in that organization?
Hanggang noong nahuli ako noong 1986. I was arrested in 1972.
How old were you then?
Martial law. I was barely 18. Nung 17, drop out ako full-time. 18, pag martial law, 18 na ako, nahuli ako, nakulong ako. Lumayas uli ako, nagpabundok po ako sa Samar. And then, nung nanganak ako nung pangatlo kong anak,
Nakapag-asawa pa kayo?
1986. Opo, may anak po kami.
Ano, kapwa rebelde?
Kapwa po, full-timer kadre sa CPP-NPA dati.
Mhm. Hindi kayo hinanap ng magulang ninyo at may tender age, at a young age?
Ayaw po nila. Hinanap po kami. Lahat yata ng mga magulang ng mga nag-full-time sa bundok noon, talagang ang mga magulang
Alright.
ayaw.
Now, next question. What prompted you to return to the fold of the government?
Sa peace process po, malaking bagay sa amin ang nangyaring February uprising. Noong pong panahon ng February uprising, nasa bundok po kami noon, nakikinig sa radyo. Tanong ko po sa sarili ko, bakit ganun? Akala ko main force tayo ng democratic struggle. Bakit wala tayo dun? Malaki yata ang problema natin dito. Before that, may mga debate na po kami sa leadership sa kawastuhan po ng protracted People's War na nakabatay sa Chinese experience po. So, nung nangyari yung February uprising and then pinakawalan sina Joma, nag-abroad pa, laking tanong namin, bakit nag-abroad siya? Kasi security question. Bakit siya lang bang may security problem? Maraming may security
Bali,
problem.
iniwanan kayo ni Joma. Iniwanan kayo.
Safety niya, sarili niya.
Inanida kayo. Ha?
So,
ba kayo
humiwalay po
nagtaka?
kami dahil
Hindi, di pa kayo
naniniwala kami.
nagtaka kung bakit umalis si Joma Resison?
May problema talaga yun, Your Honor.
Ano po?
At saka, may problema talaga sa leadership. Tapos, na-realize namin na mali yung ideological,
So hindi nyo, nung umalis siya, hindi nyo siya kinilala na totoong leader ng
Hindi, that
CPP-NPA?
time, yung structure po ng CPP-NPA, tsaka sa kultura, sa subculture namin, talagang tinitingala namin siya as our
Leader.
ideological leader po. Opo.
Hero. Sinasamba niyo siya.
Nire-respeto. Not,
Hmm.
not really yung samba. Yung
May quick
nire-respeto
question,
na siya, hindi.
Senator
Yes,
Jinggoy,
yes.
bakit ino-honor ng ating gobyerno ang pagkikipag-usap kay Jomar Sison for the longest time na nandun naman siya sa ibang bansa? Sabi nga niya is to secure himself. Bakit hindi mismo yung mga talagang nasa bundok, yung mga kadre sa iba't ibang lugar, sa iba't ibang reyon? Bakit po tayo nagpag-usap? Somebody would like to answer quickly? Bakit palagi natin kinakausap itong si Mr. Sison? Yan po hindi ko talagang maintindihan. Sasalita siya ng salita, o kung bahala, kawawa yung mga sundalo natin.
Ah,
Sasabihin na, okay, sige, peace tayo.
ano
Sasabihin ni
po?
Joma Sison, peace. And then, sabihin ng mga kadre, anong peace? Nandiyan ka sa bundok, nandito kami sa bundok, napakandahirap, ikaw, dada ka ng dada. Kaya tuloy-tuloy pa yung pang-ambush. Tama, ma'am?
Opinion ko po, tinitanong, no?
Sige, ma'am.
Kasi isang organisasyon po ang CPP-NPA. Parang MILF. Hierarchical po ang organisasyon. Kung ano yung desisyon ng leadership, sunod po yung buong organisasyon. Ganun po yon. So, may logic na ang gobyerno makikipag-usap sa liderato. So, ang kinikilalang liderato ng CPP-NPA, sina Joma. So,
Alright.
kaya
Nung nasa abroad ba si Joma, nagbibigay pa rin siya ng instruction sa inyo?
of course, nung
Like what?
hindi pa kami nag-split,
Oh, ano yung mga instruction? Kindly be specific. Ano yung mga binibitawan niya instructions?
ang
Sa inyo, sa grupo ninyo.
CPP-NPA po kasi, ang system ng leadership is through may mga programs, policy decisions, ganun po. Halimbawa, nung nag-abroad na siya, so Cory administration na, ano yung kondukta dapat ng CPP-NPA sa National Democratic Revolution. So yon, ang naging kondukta pa rin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin to overthrow the government. And then titignan lang yung Cory administration as the bourgeois democratic faction. Ibig sabihin, burgess pa rin yan, kalaban pa rin yan, class enemy pa rin yan. May democratic ano lang siya, embellishment. Kaya
Assuming, mapunta tayo kay President Cory, kay President Ramos, gusto niyo pa rin i-overthrow yung gobyerno ni President Ramos?
nung panahon po ni
Yun
Ramos,
lang naman ang mindset ng CPP-NPA, just to overthrow the government. Yan lang naman eh. Kahit sino presidenteng umupo dito sa Pilipinas, ang gusto lang ng CPP-NPA, i-overthrow ang gobyerno. Kahit wala mga masama ginagawa ang gobyerno sa inyo, gusto nyo lang talagang i-overthrow.
Opo.
Panahon ni Ramos, gusto nyo rin overthrow. Bakit?
Nagdebate na po kami noon. Tapos
Bakit nga?
nag-uumpisa
Gusto
na.
nyo overthrow yung gobyerno ni Ramos? Wala pang isang taon. Si Ramos, nandyan na yung mga rally ng mga aktivista. Ganon din sa panahon ng tatay ko. Unang sona ng tatay ko, nandun kayo nagpaparata. May effigy pa. Kahit sinong umupong presidente dyan, gusto nyong i-overthrow. Ganon din kay President Arroyo, kay President Pinoy, President Duterte, dito na kay President Marcos. Lahat gusto niya overthrow. Bakit?
Wala na po kami nung panahon ni Ramos. We recognize na mali po yung...
Kahit wala kayo dyan, ang purpose lang talaga ng CPP-NPA is
Opo.
to
Totoo po
overthrow
yan.
any government,
Totoo
any
po yan.
sitting president here.
Yes, totoo po yan.
Oh. Anong purpose?
Gusto nila
Gusto
na
nyo maging
baguhin
komunista
yung
Pilipinas?
lipunan, maging national democratic daw government, towards socialism. Ganon po yung ano nila. Gusto ang tawag po namin doon, dogmatization ng karanasan ng China. Kinopya ni Joma yung China, kahit ang layo naman ang kondisyon ng Pilipinas.
You think you can beat the government? Sa tingin nyo, kaya nyong pulbusin ang mga sundalo rito sa gobyerno natin? There is only one flag. One armed forces of the Philippines. And one constitution. You have to adhere to our constitution.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Tama
You
po.
cannot fight the government. Kaya ako talaga, I request you to go back to the fold of the government. Hindi na yun po mag-aaway kayo. Purpose nyo lang lahat lang na presidente na nakaupo dito sa Pilipinas, gusto nyo palitan, gusto nyo kayo mag-take over. Hindi naman yata tama yun. We are in a democratic society, in a democratic country.
Mr.
Alright.
Chair, makatanong lang. Nung nasa bundok po kayo, sino po nagbibigay ng support sa inyo? Saan niyo po kinukuha yung mga baril ninyo, yung mga pagkain ninyo?
Ah, ang masa po, tawag namin, ang komunidad sa ino-organize namin. Ganito po, personal kong karanasan. Pagpunta namin sa kabundukan, ang mga tao po sa bundok, mababait po, nagpapakain kung sino po yung humihingi ng pagkain. Nagpo-propaganda kami about government neglect. So, dama nila yon. Nakikita nila na itong mga bata na ito, ang babata pa, galing sa mga universidad. Iniwan yung mga pamilya nilang, baka ang buhay nila mas maganda kaysa dito para maglingkod sa atin. Tumutulong po talaga kami sa mga
So,
domestic problems,
Okay, ma'am,
ordinary
okay, sige. So, ang pagkain ninyo
criminalities.
sa masa,
Opo,
pag minadadaanan kayo mga kubo, hilain yung kambing, hilain yung baka, baboy, manok para pagkain nyo.
root crops lang po.
Or
saka
crops, okay. Paano naman po yung sweldo? Kasi may mga sweldo ata.
Wala po.
Walang sweldo. Yung mga baril po, saan galing?
Yung una po, alam niyo naman po yung karagatan, yung may efforts po ang CPP leadership na manghingi ng armed support from other countries na pareho ang ideolohiya like China, Libya.
Oh, okay, sige. Alam mo, China, paano po nakapasok ng Pilipinas yung mga baril na hinihingi from China?
Ano yun po, may mga shinip po sa mga barko na ginawan po ng pamamaraan.
Inismagel po.
Ganun opo. And then yung iba po sa proseso meron talagang kalaban, halimbawa sa politika po ito realistic lang po ha. Kapag kalaban niya yung isa, may arma siya, bibigay niya sa NPA, sige, para lalong humina yung kanyang kalaban sa politika. Meron din pong ganyan. And then meron pong siguro sa MILF experience din, may mga nakatagong armas, binibigay din sa amin. Hindi po yun marami, konti lang. Sa area po namin, Kabisayaan po kami noon. Ganun po.
Okay. Paano po yung, sabi nyo, pagdating ng baril, inismagel sa barko, sino po yung kumukuha noon? Paano po yung naidadala sa bundok? Siyempre, marami yun, cash na firearms.
Konti lang po ang nakuha ng
Paano po nayakyat sa bundok?
May mga sa organization may naka-assign kung sinong gagawa sa anong partikular na gawain. Like yun, salubungin yung mga armas, and then saan ilalagay, paano i-distribute, may mga pamamaraan po. Sa illegal, sekreto, gumagawa ng mga paraan po.
Nabanggit niyo po kanina na meron din mga taga-local government o yung mga politiko na nagbibigay ng armas sa NPA para kalabanin yung enemy nila.
Opo.
Hanggang ngayon po ba nangyari pa rin yan sa inyong palagay? Marami pa rin ba mga politiko na
mula po nung nagbuo ng RPMP, RPABB, tinigil po namin lahat yon na kasi hindi na po kami naniniwala sa armed overthrow.
No, what I'm trying to say, ma'am, sa inyong pagkakaalam, nag-exist pa rin ba yun, yung sabi nyo kanina na namimigay yung mga politiko ng baril sa inyo para gamitin sa kalaban nila?
Kung ginagawa po yun noon, pwedeng mangyari pa rin ngayon. Pwede pong nangyayari pa rin yan.
Sa tingin niyo po ba ito monitored ng ating PNP or AFP? Alam ba ito sa inyo pong palagay? Alam ba ito ng PNP at saka AFP pero they can't do anything or they're not doing anything?
Siguro po ang tingin ko lang baka may mga info silang natatanggap pero of course hindi nila makikita yung actual kasi yung mga magbibigay alam nila na illegal yon or bawal yon or makukulong sila dahil dyan. So patago talaga yung gagawin yan.
Okay, let's have the military and the PNP. So ano po yung mga indication o red flag na itong politiko kakampi na pala ito ng NPA o namimigay ito ng pera at armas sa NPA o sympathize ito ng NPA para gamitin against the enemy?
Indication po?
Ano po mga indikasyon para nandito yung mga militante na nakikinig at PNP?
Mahirap po yung indication pero ang malinaw pagka ang NPA ay malakas sa isang lugar, lalo na napapanalo yung mga sympathetic sa kanila, siguradong may nagbibigay diyan ng mga opposition or politicians para manalo sila i-protect sila ng hindi sila i-target ng NPA. Kasi ginagawa po namin yun noon.
Meron pa yung tinatawag na right of passage pag sa eleksyon para makadaan yung isang politiko makakampanya, kailangan magbigay sa NPA.
Ay, SOP nila po yun. Fundraising yun.
Fundraising po yun.
Fundraising po yun.
Okay. Yung pong hihinga ng pera, fundraising, yung isa pong kumpanya, at kapag hindi nagbigay, pasasabugin yung kumpanya, susunugin. Yun po ba?
Opo, nangyayari po. Actually.
Nangyayari yun?
Yan po. O
Bakit?
kaya yung kabilang o i-ambush siya o yung kabila ang susuportahan nila para matalo siya.
Imbis
Hindi
na ho
ko-
kayong yung manira ng property ng mga negosyante, ba't di na kayo humingi kay Jomar Sison para siyang gagawa ng remedyo at padalhin pera sa inyo?
Pakiulit po, sorry, mahina lang po, medyo.
Sabi ko, ma'am, imbis na kayo po ay magte-terrorize ng mga negosyante, marami tayong alam yan, inamin nyo po, na kapag hindi nagbigay, susunugin nyo yung truck, di ba? Susunugin nyo yung kumpanya, struktura. Bakit hindi lang kayo humingi kay Jomar Sison? Sabi ko, sa kanya na kayo humingi, wag na kayo humingi sa mga negosyante. Kawawa na yung mga negosyante, nag-negosyo
Si
po yun.
Joma nga yung nag-uutos na mag-fundraising at mag-centralize kami sa kanya. Nagpapadala po yung mga...
Nagpapadala kayo sa kanya?
Yes po.
Nagpapadala kayo ng pera kay Joma.
Yung mga local nagpapadala po yan sa Central Committee.
Pag sinabi ba ni Joma na fundraising, ibig sabihin mangungulekta kayo ng mga itinatawag na revolutionary tax
Yes po.
Ha?
Yes
sa
po.
mga negosyante,
Yes po.
sa mga politiko.
Tawag po niyan revolutionary taxes. Opo.
Yung sa mga politiko.
Solicitation po yun.
Pag hindi nakapagbigay politiko, ano gagawin nyo? Papatayin ninyo.
Oo, indirect. Pwedeng hanggang sa mamatay kung hindi talaga. Kung matindi ang kasalanan. Usually po, yung
Okay.
eliminate.
Not to mention any names, alright? Meron na ba kayong politiko na hindi nakapagbigay sa solicitation letter ninyo na pinatay ninyo?
Sa amin, sa kabisa. Pero nangyayari po yun. Nangyayari po yun.
So meron na kayong...
Meron po.
Alright.
Kanino po ibinibintang yon sa...
Inaako nyo naman, di ba? Minsan
Kasi
inaako nyo ninyo, di ba? Ang pagpatay.
hindi publicly. Pwede. Pag ginagawan lang ng parang excuse, may kaso kasi siya, corrupt siya, or et cetera, ganun.
Ayun.
Pero ang katotohanan, hindi lang siya nakapagbigay ng...
Opo, kasi kahit
ano?
corrupt, pag nagbigay, hindi ginagalaw po. Parang kabayaran ng kanyang corruption. Ganun po yung, ano,
Okay lang, kahit nasa kusakong pera ay nanakawin,
sa prinsipyo
basta
po.
bibigay, okay lang.
O
hindi
parang
papatay.
kabayaran, para
Akala ko ba, ma'am, sabi nyo kanina,
blood money.
you are for social injustice, against social injustice.
opo.
Hindi ba
Totoo
injustice
po yun.
yung pagnanakaw ng pera sa gobyerno, pagiging corrupt ng isang politiko? So sabi nyo, kahit na alam nyo, pag galing
Yes, sir.
sa nakaw, yung pera ibinibigay sa inyo ng politiko, tatanggapin nyo.
Sa prinsipyo po niyan, okay lang kasi nagbayad siya sa kasalanan niya eh.
Okay.
Okay.
Sa simbahan po, meron bang nagdo-donate ba sa inyong simbahan? Katoliko?
Alin po?
Yung simbahang katoliko ho ba, nagdo-donate ng pera sa CPP-NPA?
Hindi po. Mas sila kasi yung humihingi po sa mga tao, di po ba?
Hmm.
Pero may supportive talaga na church people dahil sa paniniwala nila na sincero yung rebelde para
So, gaano
labanan yung social injustice.
So ito
Ganun.
po ay mga pari o aabot to hanggang
May
cardinal?
pare, may madre, meron.
Meron bishop?
Supportive lang.
Supportive.
Hindi
Cardinal meron?
wala po akong
Wala.
hanggang bishop lang
Hanggang
po
bishop
ang
lang.
alam
Marami
ko
sila?
noon.
Gaano karami po?
Hindi. Konti lang po kasi ang mga bishop eh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and the last question. Kasi very enlightening, very amazing yung mga kwento ninyo, Mr. War. Kanina sinabi nyo si Joma, nung umupo si President Cory, sinabi nyo kalaban niya dahil burgis. Tama ba yun? Pagkarinig ko?
Bourgeois, burgis.
Bourgeois.
Burgess.
Ha?
Kasi ang kalaban ng sa
Bakit hindi
Marxist theory.
Bakit hindi nyo muna binigyan ng tsansa na mag-perform si President Cory? Baka sakaling gusto magkasundo kayo.
Ang agenda po kasi ng CPP-NPA, overthrow. Gusto nila, sila ang pumosisyon
Alright.
sa gobyerno.
Sinabi nyo bourgeois, yung gobyerno ni Cory. Yung gobyerno ni Ramos.
Hmm.
Ano tag nyo?
Nung panahon po na yon, ano na kami nag-exploratory talks na po kami.
Hindi,
Pero sa
bakit-
kanila, tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang ganong, analysis na
Basta lahat ng
bourgeois
nakaupo,
rule.
basta
Opo,
lahat ng
opo,
nakaupo
overthrow.
gusto niyo overthrow,
Opo,
overthrow,
tapos
overthrow.
recently, parang
Di ba
short
yung,
of
di ba yung bourgeois
overthrow,
is middle class?
hindi po, burgess,
Bourgeois is middle
Elite.
class.
hindi po,
Bourgeois.
Elite.
class enemy yan ng proletariat. Yung Communist Party of the Philippines kasi, ang pinaninindigan, proletarian interest. So, class struggle between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. So, yung bourgeoisie, class enemy po talaga yon. Kalaban talaga yon yung burgess.
Alright.
Your Honor, pwede pong magdagdag ako ng point lang doon sa...
Hindi ka ba nagugutom, Miss Tabara?
Last lang po, last importante po. Kasi baka mamaya mapunta sa amin. Kasi kanina po dun sa MILF, ang naibigay po naming armas sa gobyerno is only 317 plus. Nagpalaki lang yung ammunitions tsaka explosives. Pero ang binigyan po ng suporta ng gobyerno through the OPA Pro po ay 727 members. Kami po, nung pumasok kami sa peace agreement, hindi lang po combatants, kundi lahat ng members ng organization na naniniwala sa violenteng paraan para sa pagbabago ay kinumbinsi namin na buo na bumalik sa paggalang sa pamamaraan ng demokrasya at ng gobyerno. Tapos hiningi po namin na lahat ng members, dahil karamihan ay nanggagaling sa mahihirap na pamilya lamang, ay bigyan ng pagkakataon na irespeto yung kanilang rights, yung kanilang well-being ay matulungan, pati security, kaya humingi po kami ng interim security arrangement. So, ganun po.
Ma'am, ang definition ng bourgeois sa Webster Dictionary is middle class.
Sa sa Marxista na concept, teorya ng class struggle,
Kapitalista.
capitalist class versus the bourgeois class. Kaya hindi
Pero mali
pwedeng
po yung definition niya kasi kung ang kapitalista, mga elite yun. Yun yung mga
yun yung
nangangapital.
burgess, yun yung burgess siya. Another term for the capitalist, yung bourgeois class.
Okay. Pero alam niyo po, pag tingnan niyo po yung Webster Dictionary, bourgeois means
Hindi
middle
po
class.
middle
Ang
class.
nangangapital po, hindi pa, yung mga middle class, halos lahat tayo dito siguro sa loob is middle class. Ang
Usually,
nangangapital, yun po yung mga elite. Yun po yung may mga pera. Yung just kung ilang porsyento lang ng ating society, yun po yung elite.
yung middle class po, yan po yung alanganin na kapitalista, alanganin na proletariat. Yung professional,
Yung proletariat, yun yung masa.
po,
Yung proletariat, yun po yung masa.
masa. Opo.
Bourgeois, yun po yung middle class. Elite, yun po yung
Hindi po, yung,
mayayaman.
ano po kasi, yung bourgeois, if referring to a class, ano
Okay.
siya, ang nakakontrapose ng proletarian class. Sa
Okay.
class society, development ng lipunan from slave, so slaves versus the monarchy, yung kings, queens. And then pagdating sa feudal, yun pong magsasaka versus po feudal lords. Pagdating sa kapitalistang lipunan, yung kapitalista versus the proletariat.
Okay,
Ganon
so
po yun.
in other words, ma'am, galit kayo sa bourgeois, sa mga kapitalista. Tama?
Hindi galit. Enemy, referred sila as the enemies.
Enemies.
Pero,
Pero, tumatanggap kayo ng pera galing sa mga bourgeois. Pag nagbigay, alam mo, yung politiko na bourgeois, maraming pera, tatanggapin nyo. Okay lang.
matindi po yung yung Marxist or Leninist principle dyan. In matters of principle, no compromise. In matters of tactics, we can be very flexible.
Okay.
Ganon po yun.
Akala ko ba, ma'am, akala ko pag politiko, sabi mo, mayamang politiko, kahit na corrupt siya, namimigay ng pera sa inyo, tatanggapin nyo kasi yun ang kabayaran ng kasalanan niya. So kung yung mga bourgeois na sinasabi nyo, namigay sa inyo, bayad ng kasalanan nila. Burado na yung kasalanan nila sa inyo.
Yeah,
Yun.
ganon yun. And ano naman din kasi sir yung
Yes, ma'am.
referring to the bourgeois class as an enemy,
Opo.
nilinaw din ng Marxism na it does not mean that each and every member of the bourgeois class is an enemy. We are referring to a class. So, Pagka individual members of the bourgeois class, pwedeng iba-iba ang pakikitungo po.
Okay, thank you. First of all, lastly, I would like to thank our resource persons present here today for coming over, especially those representatives from the MILF and MNLF who flew in from Mindanao just to attend today's public hearing. Thank you for personally attending our hearing. Attorney Jafar and Attorney Madidi. And like to remind our guests, resource persons, to please submit their respective position papers before this committee at as soon as possible time, as well as the documents requested by Senators Marcos and Tulfo. And as much as I would like to schedule our next hearing on next week on February 14, I think all of you might have a date on that day for afternoon delight. Siguro I'll just schedule the next committee hearing on February 20. All right. So thank you very much for attending today's public hearing. The meeting is hereby suspended.